Chapter 21-24. Nothing is impossible. Ningyu rubbed his slightly swollen fist. He gripped the red demon sword in his hand and said calmly to the void, "Are you still not coming out? If you don't come out, I'm going to start a massacre." Silence. Unusually quiet. Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord did not speak. The golden-shelled insect leader's battle also stopped. Everyone was thinking the same thing. They all wanted to see if the martial artist hidden in the void would make a move. Sigh. After a while, a long sigh came from the void. Then, an old man in white slowly appeared in everyone's line of sight. Swish. The appearance of the old man made Zhou Wen and the golden-shelled insect leader's expressions turn extremely ugly. Golden Immortal. The old man's cultivation had reached the terrifying golden immortal realm. Zhou Wen knew that Ningyu was very strong. He had a mid-stage abstruse immortal cultivation and could emit the aura of a half-step golden immortal. However, the white-robed old man before him was a bona fide golden immortal. All below the golden immortal level were ants. Zhou Wen did not believe that Ningyu was a match for the old man in white. If Ningyu could not fight the old man in white, then they would all die today. Actually, I really don't want to be your enemy. The old man in white was Heaven Mystery Gates, Immortal Lord Tianba. He stared at Ningyu and said, "As long as you hand over the heavenly tribulation fluid and the red flying sword in your hand, I can spare your life." Humph. A dying man dares to talk to me like that? Ningyu took a step forward and snorted. Zhou Wen and the golden-shelled insect leader were afraid of Immortal Lord Tianba, but Ningyu was not. In Ningyu's view, Immortal Lord Tianba was indeed a golden immortal expert, but he could not unleash the power of a golden immortal. The reason was simple. Immortal Lord Tianba was injured, and it was a very serious injury. Ningyu finally understood. No wonder Immortal Lord Tianba did not snatch the heavenly tribulation fluid and chose to play dead in the void. Because the injuries within Immortal Lord Tianba's body greatly affected him, causing him to only be able to utilize half a nascent soul. Moreover, with Immortal Monarch Tianba's current state, he was only able to utilize half a true origin energy at most once, and it would be at the cost of burning his vitality. "Sigh, you force me to do this." Tianba Immortal Monarch sighed again and unleashed his aura, which pressed towards Ningyu. Ka. The aura of half-yuan energy directly caused the void to completely shatter. Retreat. Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Devil Immortal Lord were no fools. The power of half a yuan was far beyond what they could bear. Staying here now would only lead to death. Therefore, Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Demon Immortal Lord retreated with all their might, afraid that they would be swept up by the terrifying aura. Zhou Wen and the golden-shelled insect leader looked at each other and decided to retreat. They wanted to help Ningyu, but he had the heart but not the strength. Success or failure depended on Ningyu himself. Damn it, he's actually so strong. Immortal Monarch Sky Scorpio cursed and moved away from the center of the battle between Ningyu and Immortal Monarch Tianba. Although Immortal Monarch Sky Scorpio was strong, he was still a level lower than Ningyu and Immortal Monarch Tianba. Trying to overwhelm me with aura? You're looking down on me too much. Ningyu swung the red fiend's sword in his hand. In an instant, hundreds of sword rays swept out and formed a sword ray array in front of him. Ningyu would not foolishly hold back against Immortal Monarch Tianba. In a battle between experts, the slightest carelessness could lead to defeat. 10 golden immortal laws fused into the sword ray array to resist Immortal Monarch Tianba's aura. You know nothing about power. Immortal Monarch Tianba grinned, and then his figure flashed and charged directly at Ningyu. Immortal Lord Tianba was very fast. He was so fast that he appeared in front of Ningyu in just 0.1 seconds. Immortal Monarch Tianba gathered all the energy in his right fist and punched at Ningyu's chest with a violent gust of wind. The power of Immortal Monarch Tianba's punch had reached the limit of what he could unleash. Half-yuan force. As immortal monarch Tianba's fist punched out, the void around Ning Yu shattered. Countless spatial rifts appeared, and within each spatial rift, there was a whistling gale that rushed out. Who knows nothing about power? Ning Yu also gathered all the energy in his body on his fist. Even the energy in the Red Fiend's sword and the Origin Divine Rod were gathered on his right fist. The next moment, Ning Yu threw out a punch and collided with immortal monarch Tianba's fist. The two fists collided. Bang! A crisp sound rang out. Then, the two figures retreated in a straight line. In this blow, Ning Yu and immortal monarch Tianba were evenly matched, and neither could do anything to the other. However, although Ning Yu and immortal monarch Tianba were evenly matched, it meant that immortal monarch Tianba was at a disadvantage. Because immortal monarch Tianba did not hesitate to burn his life for this blow. On the other hand, Ning Yu was just using a normal blow. Haha, it seems that you know nothing about power. Ning Yu smiled slightly and chased after immortal monarch Tianba. Before immortal monarch Tianba had time to burn his life, he arrived in front of immortal monarch Tianba and punched immortal monarch Tianba's heart. It was a critical moment. Fortunately, immortal monarch Tianba moved his body slightly to the side. Otherwise, Ning Yu's punch alone was enough to kill him. Even so, immortal monarch Tianba could not completely avoid Ning Yu's punch. Although Ning Yu's punch did not hit his heart, it hit his chest. Crack! 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 The sound of his ribs breaking caused immortal monarch Tianba's heart to sink to the bottom. He did not expect Ning Yu to be so strong. I should have attacked earlier. At this moment, immortal monarch Tianba was extremely regretful. On one hand, he trusted immortal monarch Sky Scorpio too much. On the other hand, he did not want to burn his life to attack. These two concerns gave Ning Yu the opportunity to devour the heavenly tribulation fluid. Against Ning Yu, whose strength had increased, he no longer had any advantage. On the contrary, if he continued to fight, he would definitely lose. Because every time he attacked, he had to burn his life, while Ning Yu did not need to. Where there's life, there's hope. Immortal monarch Tianba instantly made a decision. Retreat. However, how could Ning Yu let him retreat? The next moment, Ning Yu crossed his arms in front of his chest and pushed out. Boom! Suddenly, the sword light array in front of him rushed out and pressed down on immortal monarch Tianba. In the face of such a terrifying sword light array, how could immortal monarch Tianba still have the arrogance from before? He immediately burned his life, wanting to resist the sword light array. If Tianba was in his peak state, he would naturally be able to resist the sword light array easily. However, it was a pity that even if he burned his life, he could not exert the attack of half-yuan power. Therefore, in the face of the sword light array that covered the sky, he could only swallow the bitter fruit. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and immortal monarch Tianba's already pale face became bloodless. Surrender or die. Chapter 21-25. Although immortal Lord Tianba was heavily injured, he was still an early-stage golden immortal, a bona fide golden immortal expert. It was a pity to kill such a martial artist. Ning Yu wanted to give him a chance to live, but the condition was that he had to submit to him. Ning Yu would not spare a martial artist who was unwilling to submit to him. I refuse to accept this. Immortal Lord Tianba clenched his fists and said angrily, "You have an unfair advantage. If I wasn't injured, even 10 of you wouldn't be my match." "That's right, you are right. If you weren't injured, even 10 of me wouldn't be your match." Ning Yu shrugged and said, "But now you are injured and defeated by me. If you have what it takes, let's fight again after I recover." Immortal Lord Tianba snorted coldly. Ning Yu could not be bothered with immortal Lord Tianba and said indifferently, "I will count to 3. If you don't open your mind, don't blame me for being rude. 1, 2, I choose to submit." Immortal Lord Tianba said hurriedly as soon as Ning Yu counted to 2. As the saying went, where there is life, there is hope. If he did not submit, only death awaited him. If he submitted, he could live on. Immortal Lord Tianba was not a fool and naturally chose to submit. Very good. Ningyu nodded in satisfaction. He did not care what tricks Immortal Lord Tianba had up his sleeve. All he had to do was take advantage of the moment when Immortal Lord Tianba was relaxed to extract all the golden immortal nomological laws in Immortal Lord Tianba's body. Once he lost the golden immortal laws, even if Immortal Lord Tianba recovered from his injuries, he would not be able to recover to his peak. Damn it, you want to extract my golden immortal laws. Immortal Lord Tianba quickly realized what Ningyu wanted to do. He cursed and wanted to resist. However, it was too late for him to resist now. Using the moment when Immortal Lord Tianba was stunned, Ningyu firmly controlled the golden immortal laws in his body and moved a portion of them out of his body. Hong Mo! Ningyu flicked his wrist and tossed the red demon's sword into the air. The golden immortal nomological laws that he channeled out entered the Red Fiend's sword without reservation, allowing the Red Fiend to devour them. Ningyu's thinking was very simple. Since the Red Demon's sword had already reached the level of a half-step gold treasure, why not use the golden immortal laws in Tianba Immortal Lord's body to push it to gold treasure? Once the Red Fiend's sword advanced to the level of a gold treasure, his cultivation would also rise along with it, reaching the level of a golden immortal. Only golden immortals could be considered mighty figures. Only when Red Fiend became a golden immortal would Ningyu have the confidence to go to the Central Divine Dynasty to look for the Dark Emperor and the others. Otherwise, this trip to the Central Divine Dynasty was bound to be unsatisfactory. Ah! My golden immortal laws! Immortal Lord Tianba was so angry that his nose became crooked. After losing the golden immortal laws, he was like a tiger that had lost its teeth and claws. His strength had dropped by more than half. The decrease in strength was not the reason why Tianba Immortal Lord was angry. He was angry because Ningyu's way of demanding had a great impact on him. From now on, even if he recovered from his injuries, it would be difficult for him to cultivate to the level of a golden immortal. Noisy. With a wave of his wrist, Ningyu used the golden immortal laws in Tianba Immortal Lord's body to block his mouth. To submit, one had to have the awareness of submission. If he had known this would happen, he would not have done it in the first place. In the distance, Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord and Primordial Beginning Immortal Lord could not help but shudder when they saw Ningyu's ferocity. Ningyu could even defeat Immortal Lord Tianba, who had the golden immortal laws. It was obvious that they were no match for Ningyu. At this time, they were faced with two choices. First, retreat as far as they could. From then on, they would leave the territory tens of thousands of miles around them and never come back. Second, submit, just like Immortal Lord Tianba. No matter which choice, Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord and the others were very unwilling. Swish. Instantly, Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord and the others looked at the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou. They knew very well that the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou were Ningyu's friends. Perhaps, they could capture the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou and use them to threaten Ningyu. Sha sha sha. The golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou were not idiot. When Ningyu defeated Immortal Lord Tianba, they had already realized the severity of the problem. Therefore, they were highly focused and prepared to approach Ningyu at any time. Now that they saw the gleaming eyes of Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord and the others, they immediately burned their life force and flew towards Ningyu. Swish. In its true form, the golden-shelled insect leader was much faster than ordinary half-step golden immortals. Zhou lay on its back and let it carry him towards Ningyu. Courting death. As Ningyu extracted the golden immortal laws from Immortal Lord Tianba's body, he paid close attention to the changes in the distance. When he saw that Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord and the others did not know what was good for them, he immediately gave up on Immortal Lord Tianba and went to help the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou. As for Immortal Lord Tianba, he would leave him to Red Devil. After devouring and refining a few more golden immortal laws, Red Devil's strength had jumped to second place in this area. He was only weaker than Ning Yu and stronger than Immortal Lord Tianba. With him watching over Immortal Lord Tianba would not be able to cause too much trouble. I gave you guys a chance, but you didn't know how to cherish it. Ning Yu's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he was between the golden-shelled insect leader and Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord. He clenched his fists and punched towards Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord with violent energy waves. Oh no! Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord was highly focused. At the critical moment, he used both his hands to push Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Demon Immortal Lord out to stop Ning Yu. Bang! Bang! Ning Yu's fists naturally landed on Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Demon Immortal Lord's chest. The huge force sent Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Demon Immortal Lord flying. They only stopped when their bodies hit the ground. Both of them spat out a mouthful of blood. Their auras plummeted to freezing point. I surrender. Ghost Immortal Lord seemed to know what to do. Seeing that Ancient Demon Immortal Lord and Primordial Origin Immortal Lord were no match for Ning Yu, he immediately knelt on the ground and surrendered. There's one more. Ning Yu gave Ghost Immortal Lord a fierce look before tearing the void and entering. Not long later, Ning Yu appeared in front of Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord and blocked his path of retreat. Must you be so ruthless? Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord's eyes flickered as he said in a low voice. It's not that I'm ruthless. Why didn't you think of this when you attacked me just now? Ning Yu said indifferently, sometimes you have to pay the price for doing something wrong. Price my ass die. Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord's eyes widened. Two eyeballs shot out from his pupils and attacked Ning Yu at a terrifying speed. Ah! Chapter 21-26. Humph. Scorpion King eyeballs? They're nothing in front of me. Looking at the eyeballs approaching him, Ning Yu snorted and took out the Origin creating divine staff. The red demon sword was devouring the golden immortal nomological laws, so Ning Yu naturally wouldn't use it. Although Sky Scorpio's eyeballs weren't weak, they didn't have much of an advantage in front of the Origin creating divine staff. After all, the Origin creating divine staff was Immortal Essence Creation's Dharma treasure, and its toughness far exceeded his own peak Dharma treasure. Bang! Bang! In the blink of an eye, the Origin creating divine staff and the two Scorpion King eyeballs collided. A crisp sound rang out. 3 streaks of cold light shot backwards in a perfectly straight line. Without a doubt, 2 of them were the Scorpion King eyeballs, and the other was the Origin creating divine staff. In this strike, both sides were evenly matched, and there was not much difference between them. Swoosh! Ning Yu chased after him, holding the Origin creating divine staff firmly in his hand. Kill him! Sky Scorpio raised his head and shouted. He controlled the 2 Scorpion King eyeballs to charge at Ning Yu again. I'm sorry, but you won't have the chance to kill him. Ning Yu shrugged. He injected all the energy in his body into the Origin creating divine staff and threw it out. Sizzle! Sizzle! The Origin creating divine staff with terrifying energy quickly collided with the 2 Scorpion King eyeballs. Puff! Puff! The collision this time was obviously different from the last time. Ah! A hysterical scream came out of Sky Scorpio's mouth. How could my Scorpion King eyeballs be destroyed? Sky Scorpio couldn't believe it. He had killed several half-step golden immortals with the Scorpion King eyeballs in the past. He thought that with the 2 Scorpion King eyeballs, even if he couldn't kill Ning Yu, he could at least hold on for a long time. However, in just 2 moves, Ning Yu destroyed the 2 Scorpion King eyeballs with a broken staff. The Scorpion King eyeballs were left behind by an expert who was infinitely close to becoming a golden immortal in ancient times. How could he not be shocked that such a powerful eyeball couldn't even block 3 moves? I've said it before, nothing is impossible. Ningyu shrugged and smashed the essence creation divine staff down. I surrender, I'm willing to surrender. Sky Scorpio Immortal Monarch shouted hastily when he sensed the origin creation divine rod approaching him. However, it was already too late for Sky Scorpio Immortal Monarch to surrender. If everyone struggled before surrendering, what was the point? Ningyu had already made up his mind to not give Sky Scorpio any chance. Gotcha! In an instant, the origin-creating divine stick brought along a terrifying energy fluctuation as it smashed onto Sky Scorpio Immortal Monarch's head. This strike was extremely powerful. Sky Scorpio Immortal Monarch's head was smashed on the spot, and even his soul was not spared. In the distance, Ghost Immortal Lord gasped when he saw Ningyu kill Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord. At the same time, he secretly rejoiced that he had chosen to surrender. Given the strength that Ningyu had displayed, he might even be able to take on a real Golden Immortal, let alone a half-step Golden Immortal. Ghost Immortal Lord shifted his gaze and looked at Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Demon Immortal Lord on the other side. Primordial Origin Immortal Lord and Ancient Demon Immortal Lord were pale and bloodless. Sky Scorpio Immortal Lord's tragic state was still fresh in their minds. Out of fear, their bodies were trembling and their teeth were chattering. It was difficult for anyone to remain calm in the face of death. Rumble! At this moment, a terrifying aura emanated from the Red Fiend's body and shot into the sky. I'm going to kill you! Ningyu could not help but swear when he saw the Red Fiend's current state. He had gone through a lot of hardships to transcend the Xian Immortal Tribulation and deal with Sky Tyrant Immortal Lord. It was not easy for him to raise his strength to the half-primordial force realm. But the Red Fiend, reaping the fruits of others' labor, after devouring Sky Tyrant Immortal Lord's Golden Immortal Laws, coupled with the original 10 Golden Immortal Laws in the Red Fiend's sword, the Red Fiend's sword had a total of 40 Golden Immortal Laws. The 40 Golden Immortal Laws had raised the Red Fiend's sword's grade to infinitely close to that of a gold treasure. The grade of the Red Fiend's sword was not what Ningyu was concerned about. What Ningyu was concerned about was the Red Fiend's current combat strength. Take this. With a thought, Ningyu leaped forward, clenched his right fist, and punched out. All right. The Red Fiend retracted the Red Fiend's sword and punched out in reverse, colliding with Ningyu's fist. Bang! The two collided. Immediately after, Ningyu and the Red Fiend were sent flying dozens of feet away before coming to a stop. Both parties were evenly matched in that exchange. You're impressive, kid. Ningyu was delighted. He had used half-primordial force in that punch. In other words, the Red Fiend's current strength had also reached the half-primordial force realm. Hee, it's SOSO. The Red Fiend chuckled before tossing the Red Fiend's sword to Ningyu. Piak. Ningyu reached out with his right hand and grabbed the Red Fiend's sword firmly. Holy shit! The moment he grabbed the Red Fiend's sword, Ningyu cursed once more. Initially, he thought that the Red Fiend's sword's half-primordial force realm strength had given him enough surprises. Who would have thought that the one who truly benefited was the Red Fiend's sword? The Red Fiend's sword's current state was not that of a gold treasure, but it was even better than a gold immortal. In other words, the toughness of the Red Fiend's sword had reached the level of a gold treasure. It was just that the Golden Immortal Laws were insufficient. The weakest Golden Immortal had 50 Golden Immortal Laws in their bodies. Within the Red Fiend's sword, there were only 40 Golden Immortal Laws. It was 10 short of reaching the gold treasure level. Without using the Red Fiend's sword, Ningyu could release half-primordial force realm strength. However, once he used the Red Fiend's sword, his strength could even match ordinary Golden Immortals. Good. Ningyu said good thrice consecutively. There was nothing more exciting than raising one's strength. I'll give you some lightning tribulation fluid. Ningyu kept the Red Fiend's sword and took out a jade bottle. The jade bottle contained the lightning tribulation fluid that appeared during his Xian Immortal Tribulation. The lightning tribulation fluid was good stuff. Even though the Red Fiend's strength had increased to half primordial force realm, the lightning tribulation fluid could still increase his strength. Gulp! The Red Fiend did not stand on ceremony with Ningyu. He took the lightning tribulation fluid and poured it into his mouth, refining it on the spot. As for Ningyu, he thought for a moment and took out 2 more jade bottles. He threw one to the golden-shelled bug leader and the other to Zhouwen. For us! The golden-shelled bug leader and Zhouwen were shocked. How precious was the lightning tribulation fluid! They had never expected that Ningyu would give each of them a bottle of lightning tribulation fluid. I still have something for you to do next. Ningyu did not beat around the bush. He said directly, Zhouwen is in charge of integrating the primordial demon sect, ancient demon sect, fallen spirits sect, heaven secrets sect, and sacred divine palace. As for the golden-shelled bug leader, your mission is to control the Xian immortal experts of these forces and make them submit to me. Remember, absolute submission. I promise to complete the mission. Zhouwen and the golden-shelled bug leader's heart skipped a beat. They knew very well that Ningyu was going to build Supreme Hall. Chapter 21-27. Ningyu did not care what the two were thinking. He moved and came before Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and Ancient Demon, Immortal Lord. You seem to want to go against me. Ningyu's tone was flat, and no one could tell if he was happy or angry. No, absolutely not. Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and Ancient Devil, Immortal Lord shook their heads like a rattled drum and hurriedly said, We wanted to submit to you immediately, but Sky Scorpio, Immortal Lord, forced us to. He forced us to oppose you. At this moment, Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and Ancient Demon, Immortal Lord were no fools. They could not admit it. Once they admitted to going against Ningyu, they would end up like Sky Scorpio, Immortal Lord. Now they could only insist that they had long wanted to submit to Ningyu, and push all the blame onto Sky Scorpio, Immortal Lord. Look at how scared you are. I didn't want to kill you. Ningyu waved a hand. Open your minds and let me control them. Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and Ancient Demon, Immortal Lord might look terrified, but Ningyu knew that they would choose to escape if they found a chance. To control them, he had to leave soul power in their hearts. Swish, swish. Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and Ancient Demon, Immortal Lord did not play any trick. They completely opened their minds. 2 streams of soul power swept out of Ningyu's body and entered their bodies. After controlling Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and Ancient Demon, Immortal Lord, Ningyu did the same to Shady Ghost, Immortal Lord. So far, there were already 4 profound immortal experts under his direct control. Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, Ancient Demon, Immortal Lord, Shady Ghost, Immortal Lord, and Tianba, Immortal Lord. Ningyu's plan was to cultivate in Sacred Divine Palace first, and let the golden-shelled leader go to these factions. Once he was done, he would set off immediately and bring the higher-ups of the sect to the Central God Dynasty. Of course, before going to the Central God Dynasty, he had to do everything possible to improve his strength. After all, the Central God Dynasty was an upper-class domain, and there were probably many golden immortal experts in the sect. There might even be ancestral immortal experts. There's still a long way to go. Ningyu took a deep breath and leaped into the depths of the forbidden area of the Sacred Divine Palace. The Holy Divine Palace was located in the center of the Holy Land, and the divine qi in the Forbidden Land was extremely dense. Cultivating inside would yield twice the result with half the effort. Boom! Not long after Ningyu left the area, a terrifying aura rose from Zhouwen's body. Half-step golden immortal. After devouring the heavenly tribulation liquid that Ningyu threw at him, Zhouwen's cultivation improved further. His cultivation went from the peak of mysterious immortal to the half-step golden immortal. Zhouwen was a peerless genius of the Tuoba family. The reason he had failed to advance to the half-step gold immortal stage after so many years was because he lacked an opportunity. Now that he had the lightning tribulation fluid, he naturally advanced naturally. Therefore, the golden-shelled insect leader would not be able to level up again. His cultivation base was already at the half-step golden immortal stage, and if he wanted to advance to the true golden immortal stage, he wouldn't be able to do it with the lightning tribulation water. Zhou, let's split up. The golden-shelled insect leader did not forget what Ningyu had instructed. His figure flashed, and he immediately led Primordial Origin, Immortal Lord, and the rest towards the Primordial Demon Sect. It would take a long time to travel from the Sacred Divine Palace to the Primordial Demon Sect, even if they used the Great Domain Teleportation Formation. Fortunately, their cultivation base was at the half-step Golden Immortal stage, or they would waste a lot of time just crossing a few factions. No problem. Zhou nodded, and then he started to integrate the Sacred Divine Palace. Good place. At the same time, Ningyu had already reached the deepest part of the Sacred Divine Palace, and he found the place with the most energy. There should be an immortal meridian below. Hong Mo frowned and said, "No wonder Sacred Earth Madlord could raise his cultivation base to the half-step golden immortal stage in such a short time." Ordinary immortal meridians were divided into several grades: inferior immortal meridians, medium immortal meridians, superior immortal meridians, and superior immortal meridians. Although the immortal meridian below the Sacred Divine Palace was only an inferior immortal meridian, it was enough to support a golden immortal expert. If Sacred Earth Madlord was not killed, he could even use the inferior immortal meridian to advance to the true golden immortal stage. Unfortunately, the inferior immortal meridian was now Ningyu's. Rise! Ningyu stomped on the ground, and all the energy in his body swept out, wrapping around the inferior immortal meridian, and pulled it out from the ground. Swoosh! Then, an immortal meridian as thick as a waist appeared in front of Ningyu and Hong Mo. An immortal meridian is the real deal. Looking at the immortal meridian before them, Ningyu and Hong Mo looked at each other, and they could see the excitement in each other's eyes. The value of an immortal meridian did not need to be mentioned. If used properly, an inferior grade immortal meridian and a golden immortal expert could create a high-grade domain. I'll keep this immortal meridian for myself. Ningyu flicked his wrist and inserted the immortal meridian into the red demon sword. Supreme Palace had just been built, so there was no need to leave the immortal meridian behind for now. In the future, when his strength increased to the golden immortal level and he had a few more immortal meridians, he would leave one immortal meridian behind. Otherwise, even if he left the immortal meridian, Supreme Palace would not be able to guard it. Any immortal meridian would become the focus of the golden immortal experts. Drip, drip. In the following period of time, Ningyu and Hong Mo used the inferior immortal meridian to cultivate in the deepest part of Sacred Divine Palace. In the outside world, Zhou and the golden-shelled leader acted separately, doing their best to complete the task that Ningyu had given them. At first, the Sacred Divine Palace, the Primeval Demon Sect, the Ancient Demon Sect, the Fallen Spirits Sect, and the Heaven Mystery Sect still tried to stop them. But as Zhou and the golden-shelled leader attacked, they finally gave in. After all, in the face of absolute power, not surrendering was equivalent to suicide. 3 months. From Zhou and the golden-shelled leader's attack to the completion of the integration, it took a total of 3 months. In these 3 months, Zhou and the golden-shelled leader had built a rough framework for Supreme Palace. Swish, swish. Outside the forbidden area of Sacred Divine Palace, the golden-shelled leader and Zhou stood respectfully. There was one thing that they did not dare to make on their own: they had to ask for Ningyu's opinion. That was the location of the Supreme Hall. Where exactly would it be located? Among them, Primordial Origin Immortal Lord suggested the Primordial Demon Sect, Ancient Demon Immortal Lord suggested the Ancient Demon Sect, and Fallen Spirits Immortal Lord suggested the Fallen Spirits Sect. For this reason, The golden-shelled leader and Zhou Wen specially came to ask for Ning Yu's opinion. In your opinion, where should the Supreme Hall be located? The golden-shelled leader looked at Zhou Wen. The cooperation with Zhou Wen in the past 3 months made the golden-shelled leader look at Zhou Wen in a different light. He did things calmly and orderly. If nothing went wrong, Ning Yu would most likely hand the position of Deputy Palace Master to Zhou Wen. Building a good relationship with Zhou Wen was better than anything else. Primordial Demon Sect, Ancient Demon Sect, Fallen Spirits Sect, Sacred Divine Palace, and Heaven's Secret Sect are good places, but for Supreme Palace, they are far from enough. Zhou Wen said. Then, in your opinion? The golden-shelled leader asked. Tuoba family. Chapter 21-28. The Tuoba family? Zhou Wen had just finished his sentence when a puzzled voice rang out. Swoosh. Zhou Wen and the golden-shelled insect leader immediately shifted their gazes to the depths of the Forbidden Land. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Ning Yu and the Red Devil walked out side by side. Why did you build the headquarters of Supreme Palace in the Tuoba family? Ning Yu didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. The Sacred Divine Palace, the Primordial Demon Sect, and even the Heaven Mystery Sect and the Ancient Demon Sect were sects that had been around for many years. According to Ning Yu's plan, Supreme Palace's headquarters should be built in the Sacred Divine Palace. After all, there was an inferior-grade Immortal Meridian at the bottom of the Sacred Divine Palace. Even if he took the Immortal Meridian away, the Immortal Qi here would still be denser than in other sections. Zhou Wen looked around to make sure no one was eavesdropping. The Tuoba family has an Immortal Meridian. What? Ning Yu's eyes widened when he heard that, and his face was filled with disbelief. He hadn't expected the Tuoba family to have an Immortal Meridian. When Holy Earth Mad Lord destroyed the Tuoba family, he must have conducted a thorough search of the Tuoba family. After a thorough search, there was actually an Immortal Meridian. Let's go. Ning Yu grabbed Zhou Wen's shoulder and flew toward the Tuoba family's old site. No one would complain about having too many Immortal Meridians. Ning Yu's current cultivation was at the mid-stage Abstruse Immortal. It would be difficult for him to reach the late-stage Abstruse Immortal Meridian in a short time with just one inferior-grade Immortal Meridian. After all, the Sacred Divine Palace's inferior-grade Immortal Meridian had been partially absorbed by Holy Earth Mad Lord, so there wasn't much energy left inside. Even though Ning Yu had only advanced from the mid-stage Abstruse Immortal to the late-stage Abstruse Immortal, the amount of energy he needed was enormous. Ordinary martial artists might not even need as much energy to advance from half-step Golden Immortal to Golden Immortal. That was why Ning Yu urgently needed the Immortal Meridian. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Before long, Ning Yu arrived at the Tuoba family's old site. Fully unleashing his perception, Ning Yu began to survey his surroundings. After a while, Ning Yu withdrew his perception, because he didn't find any immortal veins here. In order to prevent the Holy Earth Mad Lord from discovering the whereabouts of the Immortal Meridian, the Patriarch activated the formation before his death and sent the Immortal Meridian deep underground. Zhou Wen explained when he saw the puzzlement in Ning Yu's eyes. Gotcha! Ning Yu leaped into the air and slashed repeatedly with the Red Demon's sword in his hand. Under the attack of the Red Demon's sword, a huge crack instantly appeared on the hard ground. Go in. Ning Yu stomped on the ground and jumped into the gap. Underground. Ning Yu opened up a path with the Red Demon's sword in hand. The golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen were in the middle, and the Red Devil was at the back. Ever since the Red Fiend sword had devoured the golden immortal laws in Immortal Lord Tianba's body, the Red Fiend sword's strength had risen along with it. In addition, he had stayed in the Sacred Divine Palace's forbidden ground for 3 months, devouring the heavenly tribulation fluid and using the inferior immortal veins to cultivate. Now, the Red Fiend sword's strength had surpassed the half-nascent power and was even stronger than before. Why aren't we there yet? After diving 30,000 meters at full speed, Ningyu felt a little pressure and could not help but frown. The patriarch didn't tell me exactly how deep the immortal veins are. I only know that they are very deep, Zhou said with difficulty. At a distance of 30,000 meters, even though Zhou Wen's cultivation had reached the half-step golden immortal realm, he could not help but feel the pressure multiply. Fortunately, Ningyu and the Red Fiend's sword shared most of the pressure for him. Otherwise, the pressure alone would be enough to squeeze him into pieces. The limit of an ordinary half-step golden immortal expert was 10,000 meters. The more powerful half-step golden immortals could go as deep as 20,000 meters. An expert like Ningyu with the half-nascent power should be able to easily dive to 50,000 meters. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu sped up again. Not long after, they arrived at a depth of 50,000 meters. At a distance of 50,000 meters, the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen found it difficult to even breathe. Not yet? Ningyu turned to look at Zhou Wen. He wanted to scold him, but when he saw the innocent expression on Zhou Wen's face, he chose to keep his mouth shut. 50,000 meters was still not his limit. He could still dive deeper. The two of you hide in the Red Fiend's sword first. Ningyu flipped his wrist and opened the Red Fiend's sword, letting the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen in. The deeper they went, the more dangerous it was. Ningyu did not want to carry two burdens. Swoosh! Swoosh! Zhou Wen and the golden-shelled insect leader hurriedly went into the Red Fiend's sword. Be careful, I can feel two abnormally terrifying auras. The Red Fiend's sword came to Ningyu's side and said in a low voice, If I'm not wrong, we will encounter two demonic beasts in another 10,000 meters. I know. Ningyu nodded lightly. He knew that the flaming beasts lived deep underground. This was because there was magma deep underground and the flaming beasts loved magma. The closer they were to the magma, the stronger they were. The strength of the flaming beasts 60,000 meters underground was probably infinitely close to half-yuan force. Whoosh! Ningyu and the Red Fiend's sword's figure flashed, and they both sped up and went underground. It took Ningyu more than half an hour to go from the surface to 50,000 meters underground. However, it took Ningyu 2 hours to travel from 50,000 meters to 60,000 meters. Roar! As soon as they reached 60,000 meters underground, there was a loud roar. Splash! Then, a huge flaming beast jumped out of the magma. Seeing this, Ningyu slashed with the Red Fiend's sword. Chi! Under the horizontal slash of the Red Fiend's sword, the magma from the flaming beast fell down. Human, why are you disturbing my dream? The flaming beast opened its mouth, and a powerful voice came out. Gulp! Seeing the huge flaming beast in front of them, Ningyu and the Red Fiend looked at each other and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. How can this be called a beast? It's clearly a ball of fire. If I'm not wrong, there should be a ball of divine flame in the depths of the magma. Suddenly, Ningyu's face was filled with ecstasy. Lower-class planes had a ranking of special flames. High-class planes also had a ranking of special flames. Heaven and Earth Divine Flame ranking. In the lower-class planes, Ningyu's demonic lotus flame and heavenly fire cauldron might be very useful. But in the higher-class planes, those things were all ordinary and not worth mentioning. The divine flame was different. The divine flame was ranked 99th on the Heaven and Earth Divine Flame ranking. Although it was ranked lower, the divine flame was more famous. This was because the divine flame had a special characteristic: it could merge with other flames on the Heaven and Earth Divine Flame ranking. When the two merged, its ranking would naturally rise. There were even rumors. As long as the divine flame could merge with 50 flames, it would have a chance to reach the top 3 of the Heaven and Earth Divine Flame ranking and be comparable to the top 3 divine flames. Of course, these were all rumors. But it was enough to prove how terrifying the divine flame was. We're not trying to disturb your dream. We're just here to take back what belongs to us. Ningyu put away the thoughts of the divine flame in his mind and cupped his fists. Although the divine flame was good, Without the help of elixirs, he would not be able to refine it even if he obtained it. Chapter 21-29. Humph. Everything here belongs to me. There's nothing here that belongs to you. If you know what's good for you, scram as soon as possible. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The flaming beast snorted coldly and waved his hand impatiently. Let me give you a piece of advice. Cram as far as you can before I get angry. What if we don't leave? The Red Devil took a step forward and said in a deep voice. The Red Devil's perception was not weak. At this moment, even an ordinary profound immortal expert could discover an immortal meridian at the bottom of the magma under the flaming beast, lying through one's teeth. This was the best way to describe the flaming beast. If you don't leave, you'll die. The flaming beast's eyes widened and he instantly dashed out. The flaming beast charged in the direction of the Red Devil. In the flaming beast's opinion, the Red Devil was the biggest threat. As for Ningyu, he was just an ordinary mid-stage profound immortal expert and was nothing to worry about. However, the flaming beast's thoughts made him suffer greatly. Since the flaming beast had made a move, Ningyu naturally had no intention of watching from the sidelines. He wielded the Red Devil sword and slashed with it. Gotcha! As the flaming beast's attention was on the Red Devil, it only swung its flaming arm to block Ningyu's sword ray. How could the flaming arm block the sword ray from the Red Devil sword? A crisp sound rang out. The flaming arm of the flaming beast was broken on the spot. Looking at the broken arm, Ningyu was a little dumbfounded. Wasn't the flaming beast's body made of flames? Why did it have bones? While he was thinking, the flaming beast's hysterical scream was heard. I'm going to grind your bones to ashes. The flaming beast was extremely angry and roared, All of you, come out! Whoosh! As the flaming beast's voice rang out, the entire magma pool began to boil. Whoosh! 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 3 terrifying figures dashed out from the bottom of the magma. Half-yuan power. The strength of the 3 flaming beasts had reached the terrifying half-yuan power realm. Including the flaming beast whose arm was cut off, there were a total of 4 half-yuan power beasts. 2 each. Let's end this quickly. Ningyu did not waste any time. He threw the Red Devil sword to the Red Devil and charged at the 2 fire beasts. With the help of the Red Fiend's sword, he could slightly contend with Ningyu. Giving the Red Fiend's sword to the Red Fiend was the most reasonable method of distribution. Rumble! The battle broke out instantly. This day next year will be the day you die. The Flame Beast kept roaring and launching powerful attacks. The half-yuan realm Flame Beast did indeed put a lot of pressure on Ningyu and the Red Devil. At the very least, they would not be able to kill the Flaming Beast in a short period of time. Hua! However, the battle had only lasted for 10 minutes when a cold light rushed out from the bottom of the magma. Divine Flame Flame! Ningyu's expression changed drastically when he saw the cold gleam that suddenly shot out from the bottom of the lava. The battle between him and the Flaming Beast had reached a balance. At this time, whichever side had fresh troops joining in would win. Once the Divine Flame was controlled by the Flaming Beast, the consequences would be unimaginable. Times Square Pagoda. At this critical moment, Ningyu gritted his teeth and hurriedly took out the Times Square Pagoda. The Times Square Pagoda could even suppress the blue energy stones, so it should be able to suppress the Divine Flame Flame. Chi-Chi. The Divine Flame Flame was ranked 99th on the Heaven and Earth Divine Flame list, which was enough to show how terrifying it was. The air was scorched by its scorching temperature, making a sizzling sound. It was as if the Divine Flame Flame was controlled by the Flaming Beast. No one attacked except for Ningyu. Open! Seeing that the Divine Flame Flame was about to reach him, Ningyu immediately opened the Times Square Pagoda. Swoosh! A terrifying devouring force came from the Times Square Pagoda. Under the shocked eyes of Ningyu and the others, the Times Square Pagoda swallowed the Divine Flame Flame. After that, the Times Square Pagoda returned to Ningyu's arms. Gulp! The sudden change was obviously out of everyone's expectation. Even the battle had stopped. How is this possible? The flaming beast whose arm was severed opened its mouth slightly. Its face was filled with disbelief. The 4 flaming beasts had been waiting here for many years, but they were unable to refine the divine flame. To their surprise, it was subdued by a mystic immortal intermediate stage martial artist. Whoosh! However, what happened next shocked the flaming beast and the others. Not long after the divine flame was absorbed into the Times Square pagoda, another cold ray shot out from the bottom of the lava. My immortal flame! Ningyu could not help but curse when he saw the cold ray. Immortal meridian! The cold ray was an immortal meridian. And it was not an ordinary immortal meridian. It was a middle-grade immortal meridian. How precious was a middle-grade immortal meridian! 10,000 low-grade immortal meridians might not even have as much energy as a middle-grade immortal meridian. A middle-grade immortal meridian was enough to make a high-grade territory flourish. Attack! What was Ningyu's purpose in coming to the underground? To obtain the immortal meridian. Now that the immortal meridian was right in front of him, how could he give it up? The Red Fiend was very self-aware. After hearing Ningyu's words, he immediately merged into the Red Fiend's sword and flew in front of Ningyu. With the Red Fiend's sword in hand, Ningyu reached his complete form. At this moment, Ningyu's strength had increased by several levels. Although it was difficult to kill the 4 flaming beasts, it was not too much of a problem to snatch the middle-grade immortal meridian from them. Whoosh! The sword stabbed at the middle-grade immortal meridian. Without saying anything, Ningyu immediately retreated. Get it and leave. The closer the flaming beasts were to the lava, the stronger they were. If they left the underground lava, their combat strength would drop by at least 10 to 20%. At that time, their strength would drop to the half-primordial force realm. Chase! The 4 flaming beasts would definitely not give up. They pushed their speed to the limit and followed closely behind Ningyu. Whoosh! More than 2 hours later, Ningyu finally rushed out of the ground and floated in midair. Since he had already rushed out of the ground, Ningyu naturally would not choose to escape. He first put the middle-grade immortal meridian into the Times Square pagoda, then held the Red Fiend's sword in his hand. He turned back to look at the 4 flaming beasts and said in a deep voice, "Now you have 2 choices. 1. Submit to me. 2. Die." Although their strength would drop after leaving the underground lava, the strength of the flaming beasts was still very terrifying. Each of them had reached the half-primordial force. If he had 4 followers, this trip to the Central Divine Dynasty would be a little more secure. Since you have offended us, the 4 flaming brothers, you won't be able to escape today. The one-armed flaming beast's arm had already grown back. He said coldly, "Hand over the divine flame fire and the middle-grade immortal meridian. Otherwise, I'll let you know why flowers are red." "The ignorant are fearless," Ningyu said lightly. Although killing the 4 flaming beasts with half-primordial force was a little troublesome, if they persisted in going about things the wrong way, Ningyu did not mind killing them completely. Chapter 2130. Go! The 4 flaming beasts were determined to go against Ningyu. They charged forward without a care in the world. Be it the middle-grade immortal meridian or the divine flame, they were extremely beneficial to the flaming beast. With these 2 items, the strength of the flaming beasts could even double. Swoosh! Swoosh! The 4 flaming beasts charged at Ningyu from 4 different directions, courting death. Ningyu's expression turned cold as he slashed with the Red Fiend's sword. Ningyu did not hold back with this slash. Even a lion would use its full strength to capture a rabbit, let alone 4 flaming beasts with half-nascent power. Ningyu knew that unless the flaming beasts were beaten into submission, they would never surrender. Chi! The Red Fiend's sword with 40 golden immortal laws was extremely powerful. The sword gleam rubbed against the air, producing a hissing sound. In the blink of an eye, The sword gleam arrived in front of one of the flaming beasts. Under its shocked gaze, it landed on its chest. Crack! A crisp sound rang out. Instantly, several of the flaming beast's ribs were broken. Again, Ningyu did not stop after his attack. He slashed with the Red Fiend's sword once more. Swoosh! 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 This time, 3 sword gleams headed towards the flaming beasts, approaching Ningyu from 3 different directions. Compared to the power of the first sword gleam, the power of the last 3 sword gleams was even stronger. Crack! 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 Several crisp sounds rang out. Without a doubt, the remaining 3 flaming beasts were all struck in the chest by the sword gleams, causing their ribs to break. I'll give you one last chance. Surrender or die. Ningyu took a step forward with the Red Fiend's sword in front of him. If the flaming beasts did not agree, he would immediately attack. In fact, only Ningyu himself knew the real situation. In order to cast the 4 sword gleams, he had already expended 80% of the immortal chi in his body. Right now, he was devouring the tribulation fluid with all his might to recover to his peak state. When the enemy was strong, he was fearful. When the enemy shows weakness, we are even more afraid. Obviously, this was what the 4 flaming beasts were thinking. Even though they guessed that Ningyu did not have enough immortal chi in his body, they did not dare to attack. The reason was none other than the 4 streaks of sword radiance that Ningyu had just slashed out had deeply shocked them. Go! The flame beast was not a fool. In the face of Ningyu's formidable strength, their chances of winning were less than 10%. With such a low probability of winning, there was no need for them to take the risk. In a flash, the 4 fire beasts dashed out. But this time, their target was not Ningyu, but underground. Where are you going? How could Ningyu allow a cooked duck to fly away? Moreover, with the assistance of the heavenly tribulation liquid, his current strength had already recovered to its peak state. If you don't surrender, then die. Ningyu gave chase and slashed down with the red demon's sword in his hand. Under Ningyu's powerful attack, the 4 fire beasts' expressions changed, and they ran away crazily. They were already scared out of their wits, and did not dare to face Ningyu head-on. Crack! Running away blindly was obviously a wrong choice. Ningyu held the red demon's sword in his hand and slashed at the neck of a fire beast. A cracking sound was heard. Even though the fire beast's neck was harder, it could not withstand the attack of the red demon's sword, and it was cut off on the spot. Ningyu seized the opportunity and punched out with his right fist, which landed on the fire beast's heart where its neck was cut off. 1 sword, 1 punch. A fire beast with half-nascent power died in an instant. Die! Ningyu injected the immortal chi in his body into the red demon's sword and slashed out again. At the same time, Ningyu clenched his right fist and punched out again. Crack! Crack! The same thing happened. The second fire beast died on the spot. Whoosh! The death of 2 fire beasts caused the rest of the fire beasts to change their expressions. They knew that if they ran away again, they would be killed by Ningyu. Their eyes flickered, and finally, the remaining 2 fire beasts chose to surrender. Ningyu did not want to kill them. Since he had achieved his goal, he immediately stopped and said in a low voice, "Open your mind." Killing was not the goal. Killing 2 fire beasts was to make the other 2 surrender. The remaining 2 fire beasts did not dare to resist. They trembled and opened their minds, allowing Ningyu to control them. Swoosh! 2 streams of soul power came out of Ningyu's body and entered the fire beasts' bodies. In the blink of an eye, the eyes of the 2 fire beasts became dim. They knew very well that their lives did not belong to them anymore. As long as Ningyu wanted to, he could take their lives at any time. Come out! After controlling the fire beasts, Ningyu released the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhouwen from the red demon sword. Not good! As soon as they came out of the red demon sword, the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhouwen hurriedly stood in front of Ningyu and said anxiously, "Ningyu, leave quickly, we will stay behind." Hearing the words of the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen, Ning Yu was very touched. These two fire beasts were demonic beasts with half-step yuan force. The golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen were only half-step golden immortal, but they chose to stand in front of him and let him leave first. He was very touched. Don't worry, they are the left and right protectors of Supreme Palace. Their status is below the two of you. Ning Yu waved his hand, signaling the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen not to panic. What? The golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen were dumbfounded. Left and right protectors? What the hell is going on? Could it be? Thinking of this, both of their faces changed. There was only one explanation, and that was Ning Yu had subdued two fire beasts with half-step yuan force. Zhou Wen, golden-shelled insect leader. Just as they were thinking, Ning Yu's order came. In 3 days, I will set off for the Central Celestial Dynasty with the left and right protectors. As for the two of you, you must manage Supreme Palace for me. Hearing this, the golden-shelled insect leader and Zhou Wen's excited faces instantly turned solemn. The Central Celestial Dynasty was a high-grade territory with countless experts, including many golden immortals. Although Ning Yu could defeat the fire beasts with half-step yuan force, the chances of him winning against a golden immortal was extremely low. Let Zhou Wen stay. I want to go with you to the Central Celestial Dynasty, the golden-shelled insect leader said. No, I will go with Ning Yu to the Central Celestial Dynasty. I am more familiar with that place, Zhou Wen said in a deep voice. More familiar? Ning Yu and the golden-shelled insect leader were stunned at the same time. Zhou Wen was originally a member of the Tuoba family. Had he been to the Central Celestial Dynasty? As if he had guessed Ning Yu's doubts, Zhou Wen asked, Do you know why the Tuoba family has a mid-grade immortal meridian? Ning Yu and the golden-shelled insect leader shook their heads at the same time. Taking a deep breath, Zhou Wen explained, The Tuoba family is a large family in the Central Celestial Dynasty. There is an ancestral immortal in the sect. Whoosh! Chapter 21:31. Above the golden immortals were the ancestral immortals. In some of the weaker upper-class territories, the strongest experts were only golden immortals. They didn't even have ancestral immortals. But the Tuoba family actually had an ancestral immortal. This was something Ning Yu and the golden-shelled leader didn't expect. The Tuoba family of the Sacred Land is just a branch of the Tuoba family of the Central Divine Dynasty. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, our ancestors were framed and forced to leave the Central Divine Dynasty. They moved to the Sacred Land and settled down here. Ning Yu was silent. He had some understanding of what happened next. The Tuoba family was uprooted by the Sacred Land madman. But Ning Yu was a little puzzled. Since the Tuoba family could move out when they were being persecuted, it meant that their strongest expert was at least a golden immortal. There was no reason for a family with a golden immortal to be uprooted by the Sacred Land madman. Although we were forced to leave the Central Divine Dynasty, our ancestors always wanted to go back, so they made a rule that all members of the family must go to the Central Divine Dynasty as long as they reach the mid-stage profound immortal level. Thinking of this rule, Zhou Wen couldn't help but feel a little dazed. It could be said that if it weren't for this rule, the Tuoba family would have become the ruler of the Sacred Land and even had the opportunity to continue expanding. I see. Ning Yu nodded gently. It was obvious that Zhou Wen had a lot on his back. He wanted to go to the Central Divine Dynasty to find his ancestors and kill the Sacred Land madman. Fortunately, he had met him. Otherwise, it would have taken Zhou Wen at least tens of thousands of years to kill the Sacred Land madman. Well, Zhou Wen will come with me to the Central Divine Dynasty. The golden-shelled leader will stay. After thinking about it, Ning Yu decided to let Zhou Wen go with him. After all, Zhou Wen had an obsession in his heart. If he didn't solve it, it would be difficult for his cultivation to improve. Zhou Wen's martial arts talent was very high. In time, He might even have a chance to become an ancestral immortal. Moreover, Ningyu planned to train Zhou as his right-hand man. Although he had established the Supreme Hall, he couldn't do everything himself. It was best to find a few people to share his burden. Zhou was a very good candidate. He was capable and talented. Most importantly, he was more loyal. I want to go too," the golden-shelled leader said hurriedly. "You are all going to the Central Divine Dynasty. Don't leave me behind." The golden-shelled insect was very smart. He knew very well that only by following by Ningyu's side could his strength improve quickly. Even if he stayed behind to control the entire Paragon Palace and rule over several mid-tier weaves, the most important thing was to increase his strength. Everything else was meaningless. "It's settled, unless you can find a suitable candidate," Ningyu said in an unquestionable tone. "When the matter of the Central Divine Dynasty is settled, I will come back. If you mess up the Supreme Palace, I will hold you accountable." Whoosh! As he spoke, Ningyu's figure flashed and he flew toward the sacred Divine Palace. However, just as he flew, Ningyu stopped and turned back to the golden-shelled leader. "When the Supreme Palace is settled, find a way to go to the immortal spirit realm in the lower plane and bring the Supreme Palace's branch here." Before leaving the immortal spirit realm, Ningyu had already established the Supreme Palace. Although the immortal spirit realm's Supreme Palace was relatively weak, it was still a force he had established, so he couldn't ignore it. A suitable candidate, a suitable candidate. Looking at Ningyu's departing figure, the golden-shelled leader couldn't help but murmur. First of all, the leader of the Supreme Palace couldn't be lower than a half-step golden immortal. Otherwise, it would be difficult to convince others. Second, the leader had to be able to see the big picture and be capable enough. Otherwise, even if he found one, Ningyu wouldn't be satisfied. How troublesome! The golden-shelled leader scratched his head and quickly flew toward the primordial demon sect. He wanted to gather primordial origin Immortal Lord and the others and find a way to recruit talent. As long as he could cultivate a qualified replacement, he could go to the Central Divine Dynasty to look for Ningyu. Ningyu didn't care what the golden-shelled leader did. He rested in the sacred Divine Palace for 3 days. 3 days later, he brought Zhou, the 2 fire beasts, and the Red Fiend to activate the major region teleportation array and rushed to the Central Divine Dynasty. The sacred land was very far from the Central Divine Dynasty. Even if they activated the major region teleportation array, it would take a lot of time. It just so happened that the Red Fiend could use this time to refine the phantom armor again. As Lin Yun's cultivation increased, the phantom armor's usefulness decreased again. The late-stage profound treasure phantom armor could resist a mystic immortal for a while, but it probably wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow from a golden immortal. As the master of the Supreme Palace, after integrating several middle-sized territories, Ningyu had a lot of materials on him. It wouldn't be too much of a problem to take out some materials to upgrade the phantom armor. A month later, the phantom armor was upgraded to the peak of profound treasure. Bam! Another month went by. With a muffled sound, the phantom armor's grade was upgraded from the peak of profound treasure to the half-step gold treasure level. Of course, the half-step gold treasure level of the phantom armor was completely different from the half-step gold treasure level of the Red Fiend sword. The Red Fiend sword was only 10 golden immortal laws away from advancing to the gold treasure level. As for the phantom armor, it was still a few grades away from advancing to the gold treasure level. But even so, Ningyu was very satisfied. How long until we reach the Central Divine Dynasty? Ningyu turned his head and asked after putting away the phantom armor. Zhou knew the specific location of the Central Divine Dynasty. With this guide, he could save a lot of trouble, because Zhou's ancestor had left a shortcut. Using the shortcut could save a lot of time. Otherwise, it would take at least 3 months to travel by the major region teleportation array. 3 days. Zhou looked around and said, If we rush at full speed, we can reach the central divine dynasty in 3 days. Okay, let's go at full speed. Ningyu didn't want to waste time. He flashed and raised his speed to the limit. Swish! 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. When the 4th day came, Ningyu and Zhou Wen were already standing in the territory ruled by the central divine dynasty. Songyun City? Looking at the magnificent city wall in front of him, Ningyu frowned slightly. On the way here, Ningyu had a general understanding of the structure of the central divine dynasty. The central divine dynasty adopted a family system. The weak families ruled the small cities, while the strong families ruled the big cities. As for the main city of the central divine dynasty, Demigod City, it was jointly ruled by 3 major families. The Tuoba family, the Goat family, and the Nangong family. 3 families with compound surnames ruled the central divine dynasty together. Among them, the Nangong family was the most powerful. Half of the families in the central divine dynasty obeyed their orders. Next, the Goat family ruled 30% of the families. As for the Tuoba family, due to a turmoil hundreds of thousands of years ago, it had declined and only ruled 20% of the families. However, these 3 families were only the outer sect of the central divine dynasty. Chapter 2132. The Tai divine sect was extremely mysterious and not open to the public easily. Rumor had it that one had to go through their selection to enter the Tai divine sect. Every 3 years, the Tai divine sect would send emissaries to the semi-god city to select geniuses. Only those selected by them would be qualified to enter the Tai divine sect. The strongest expert of the Songyun clan is Sage Songyun, whose cultivation is around the early Xian immortal stage. Zhou Wen's words rang in Ningyu's ears. As far as I know, the Tai divine sect will select disciples in a month's time. We should be able to enter the Tai divine sect when we participate in the selection. Let's go. Ningyu thought about it and felt that this was the best idea. After all, the Tai divine sect was too powerful and it was unwise to force their way in. One should know that even the strongest experts of the 3 clans on the outskirts of the Tai divine sect were likely to be ancestral immortals, let alone the real Tai divine sect. Therefore, what Zhou Wen said was the best idea. After staying in Songyun City for a few hours, Ningyu and the others headed to the next city without stopping. After passing through dozens of cities, Ningyu and the others finally arrived at the semi-god city 3 days later. Concealing their auras, Ningyu and the others successfully entered the semi-god city. They found a random restaurant to stay in. As soon as Ningyu and the others entered the room, the void trembled. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Then, 3 warriors tore through the void and appeared. Who are you? Ningyu's face turned cold as he berated. Ningyu felt a trace of ice-cold killing intent from these 3 martial artists. 2 men and 1 woman. The 2 men were at the late Xian immortal stage and the woman was at the peak Xian immortal stage. The woman stared at Zhou Wen and said in a deep voice, "Token?" Whoosh. Zhou Wen flicked his wrist and threw out a token. The woman took the token and looked at it. He is indeed from the Tuoba clan, but his cultivation is too low, only at the early heaven immortal stage. Follow me. From beginning to end, the woman didn't even look at Ningyu and Hong Imo. This was because the cultivation that Ningyu exuded was only at the mid-heaven immortal stage. To an expert at the peak of the mysterious immortal realm, an intermediate stage heavenly immortal realm expert was like an ant, or even less than an ant. Hearing the woman's words, Ningyu finally understood. These 3 cultivators seemed to be from the Tuoba family. Give me a few days. Zhou Wen said in a deep voice, I'll naturally meet the ancestor in 3 days. With Ningyu around, how could Zhou Wen follow the woman to meet the Tuoba family's ancestor? Right now, he was already the hall master of Supreme Palace. Unless he had Ningyu's permission, he would not go and see his ancestor, even if it was not virtuous to do so. Humph. We have to go now. The woman snorted coldly and said, "Recently, the main family has been suppressing us very severely. If you stay, you will only die." Zhou Wen's expression changed. Although he spent most of his time in the Holy Land, he had heard about the half-god city. Tens of thousands of years ago, his ancestor quietly returned to the half-god city and established a branch family. After many years of scheming, the branch family finally developed, and there were many geniuses in the family. Unexpectedly, the main family discovered the branch family and sent experts to encircle it. Due to the suppression of the main family, the branch family had been unable to do anything all these years. "Let's go and take a look." Ningyu thought about it and felt that it was not a good idea to stay in the restaurant. He might as well follow the woman to the Tuoba branch family to take a look and learn more about the Tai Divine sect. "All right, I'm willing to go back with you." Since Ningyu had agreed, Zhou Wen did not insist and nodded, indicating that he was willing to go back with the woman. The woman glanced at Ningyu and Hong Mo and did not refuse. In her opinion, it was necessary to bring Ningyu and Hong Mo along before confirming their identities. Not long after, Ningyu and Zhou Wen arrived at a hidden alley. Creak. The woman took out a crystal ball and placed it in the groove on the wall. With a creak, the wall of the alley caved in. "Let's go." The woman grabbed Zhou Wen and rushed out quickly. As for the other two late-stage Xian immortal martial artists, they stared at Ningyu and Hong Mo as they entered. As soon as they entered, it became clear. "Watch them." The woman instructed the two late-stage Xian immortal martial artists and led Zhou Wen deeper into the alley. After the woman left, Ningyu finally had time to look around. Ningyu found that he was in a slightly spacious area. There were mountains, trees, and even flowing water around him. Golden treasure? Ningyu frowned. What he saw did not seem to be fake. However, he would not believe that such a place existed in the half-god city. There was only one possibility for this to happen, and that was that he was inside the golden treasure. The golden treasure was a powerful magic treasure, and it had a huge space inside. Zhou Wen said that the Tuoba family used to have an ancestral immortal, and his ancestor's cultivation was very likely to be an ancestral immortal, or at least a high-level golden immortal. It was not surprising that he had a golden treasure on him. At first, Ningyu stayed at the same spot calmly, but as time passed, his expression changed. Is Zhou Wen in trouble? The more he thought about it, the more likely Ningyu felt that it was. Given Zhou Wen's character, there was no reason for him to stay here for a long time. "Please tell Zhou Wen that I have something to talk to him about." As he was not sure if Zhou Wen was in trouble, Ningyu did not act rashly. Instead, he said to the two late-stage Xian immortal martial artists beside him, "Don't talk nonsense. Just stay here obediently." The two late-stage Xian immortal martial artists did not give Ningyu any face and said coldly, "This is the Tuoba family. Anyone who dares to behave atrociously here must die." Boom. The moment the word die was said, the two late-stage Xian immortal martial artists released their aura and pressed down on Ningyu and Hong Mo. It was obvious that they wanted to teach Ningyu a lesson so that Ningyu would be more obedient. "You're courting death." Before Ningyu could make a move, the red devil beside him took a step forward, clenched his right fist, and punched out. Bang! Bang! One punch. With just one punch, Hong Mo sent the two late-stage Xian immortal martial artists flying. The reason why he allowed Hong Mo to attack was that Ningyu saw Zhou Wen. To be precise, he saw Zhou Wen who was tied up. In the depths of the golden treasure, Zhou Wen's expression was extremely gloomy. He looked at the old man standing in front of him and said coldly, "This is not the Tuoba family's branch family. You are not my ancestor." I killed that trash a long time ago." The old man laughed weirdly and said, "It seems that not uprooting the entire Tuoba branch family was a wise decision. See, they sent me another half-step golden immortal expert." Whoosh. Hearing the old man's words, the already pale woman's face turned even paler, as if there was no blood in it. The woman's name was Tuobalan. Tuobalan was vexed. She was vexed that she had been deceived for so many years. For tens of thousands of years, she had brought all the geniuses sent from the Holy Land and handed them over to her ancestor to train. Chapter 21:33. I'll kill you! Tuobalan was extremely furious. She clenched her fists and charged at the old man. Atonement! Tuobalan wanted to atone for her sins. Even if she knew she was not the old man's match, she still wanted to charge forward. Only then could she feel slightly at ease. The ignorant are fearless. Looking at the approaching Tuobalan, the old man's lips curled up slightly, and he said indifferently, "Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish." Bang! However, before the old man's fist could land on Tuobalan, it was blocked by a fist that contained terrifying immortal chi. Without a doubt, it was Zhouwen who attacked. A few ropes naturally could not trap Zhouwen. No matter what, Tuobalan was a friend and not an enemy. Zhouwen could not watch as she was killed. After all, it was very likely that he and Tuobalan were the only ones left in the Tuoba branch family. In such a situation, Zhouwen would definitely save her if he could. Humph! You can't even protect yourself, yet you still want to save others. The old man snorted coldly and immediately gave up on Tuobalan, turning to fight Zhouwen. Rumble! When experts fought, the outcome could be decided in an instant. 3 moves. In just 3 moves, the old man defeated Zhouwen. Golden Immortal! Standing up from the ground with great difficulty, Zhouwen's expression was extremely gloomy. After the exchange just now, he knew that the old man's cultivation was a golden immortal, a true golden immortal. He was only a half-step golden immortal and had not even reached half primordial energy. How could he be a match for the old man? Not too stupid. The old man's lips curled up and he said sinisterly, "After devouring you, my internal injuries will be completely healed." Is that so? As soon as the old man finished speaking, a faint voice rang in his ear. Hearing that, the old man's expression changed slightly, and he hurriedly turned his head to look. Sha! 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 Not far away, 2 martial artists walked towards him side by side. Ning Yu and Hong Fiend. These 2 martial artists were none other than Ning Yu and Hong Fiend. The intense battle between the elder and Zhouwen was witnessed by Ning Yu. From Ning Yu's point of view, even though the old man was an early golden immortal, he had some internal injuries that prevented him from unleashing his peak combat power. As long as the old man couldn't unleash the strength of an early golden immortal, he didn't need to worry too much. You actually dare to devour someone from the Supreme Hall? I must say you are very bold. Ning Yu shrugged and said, "I want to see how you will devour Zhouwen today." Ha! The old man threw his head back and laughed wildly. To be honest, the elder was a little surprised when Ning Yu and the Red Fiend appeared. However, when he discovered that Ning Yu's cultivation base was only at the intermediate profound immortal stage and Hong Mo's cultivation base was only at the half-step golden immortal stage, the old man could not help but throw his head back and laugh maniacally. After laughing maniacally, the old man changed the topic and said coldly, "Even if I'm injured, killing you is as easy as slaughtering dogs. Let's attack together." Ning Yu could not be bothered to talk nonsense with the old man. He exchanged glances with the Red Fiend and immediately dashed out. Swoosh! As the Red Fiend charged forward, he directly fused with the Red Fiend's sword and flew towards Ning Yu. Ning Yu grabbed the Red Fiend's sword and slashed out a sword ray in the air. The sword ray was extremely powerful and could be said to be the strongest move that Ning Yu could unleash at his current stage. As this was the half-god city, and they were in the Golden Treasure City, Ning Yu did not want to waste time and attract the attention of others. There were a total of 3 major clans in the half-god city: the Tuoba clan, the Ram clan, and the Nangong clan. Each clan was stronger than the other. If the old man escaped, the consequences would be unimaginable. Child's play. The old man did not seem to take Ningyu's slash seriously. The immortal chi in his body surged and he threw a punch. Chi. Chi. The fist ray tore through the air and collided with the sword ray. However, the old man's fist ray did not even last for a second before it was smashed into pieces. What? This change was clearly out of the old man's expectation. His expression changed slightly. He knew that he had encountered a powerful opponent today. With a thought, the old man wanted to retrieve the golden treasure and use it to fight the enemy. However, how could Ningyu give the old man the chance to do so? He seized the rare opportunity to chase after the old man and slashed at the old man's neck with the red fiend's sword. Oh no! At the critical moment, the old man used all his strength to dodge to the side. Crack! Even though the old man tried his best to dodge to the side, he could not completely escape. Ningyu controlled the red fiend's sword to return and slashed at the old man's chest. A crisp sound was heard. Several of the old man's ribs were broken. You've angered me. The old man clenched his fists and the veins on his body bulged. It's not good to be careless when fighting me. Ningyu knew very well that the old man had been defeated the moment he looked down on him. Opportunities were fleeting in a battle between experts. Moreover, the old man had been so careless and did not treat him as a human. Sometimes one had to deal with one's own sins. Kill. Ningyu would not hold back. He activated the golden immortal laws in the red fiend's sword and injected all the immortal chi in his body into the red fiend's sword. He even activated his inferior grade Immortal Meridian and injected the immortal chi in the inferior grade Immortal Meridian into the red fiend's sword. Ningyu wanted to kill the old man with this strike. He could not give him any chance to escape. Immortal Meridian. You have an Immortal Meridian. The old man noticed something the moment Ningyu activated his inferior grade Immortal Meridian. Ha ha ha! After discovering that Ningyu had an Immortal Meridian, the old man threw his head back and laughed maniacally. Ningyu was a little dumbfounded. He could still laugh when he was about to die? Whoosh! The next moment, the old man flicked his wrist and retracted the gold treasure. The surroundings changed drastically after the gold treasure was retracted. The mountains and rivers had all disappeared, and what replaced them was a slightly spacious room. So what if you have an Immortal Meridian? I have a gold treasure, a real gold treasure. The old man said sinisterly, hand over the Immortal Meridian and I'll leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll let you know why flowers are so red. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Ningyu wielded the red fiend's sword and slashed at the old man. Ding! This time, the old man raised the gold treasure flying sword in his hand and made intimate contact with the red fiend's sword. What the old man had expected did not happen when the two collided. In fact, the old man was dumbfounded by the tearing pain from his perlicue. His gold treasure flying sword did not gain the upper hand. Could it be that the red flying sword in Ningyu's hand was also a gold treasure flying sword? The more he thought about it, the more excited the old man became. Immortal Meridian, gold treasure flying sword. He had really struck it rich today. Seems like it was a wise choice for me to leave Tuoba lawn of the Tuoba branch behind. The old man's lips curled as he cracked his neck. Inferior grade Immortal Meridian, gold treasure flying sword. My status in the Tuoba family should be raised by another level in the future. Hurry, let's go. For some reason, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat when he saw the old man's composure. Chapter 2134. Can you guys escape? The old man was confident as he waved his hands repeatedly. Instantly, 4 golden beams of light shot out from the 4 corners of the room. Swish, 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 swish. The 4 golden beams intertwined and enveloped the entire room. Fufu, stop struggling. The Tuoba family's god-slaying formation can even kill golden immortal experts, let alone you guys. Looking at the struggling Ningyu, The old man smiled faintly. Let me tell you a secret. The ancestor of the Tuoba branch family was killed by me using the god-slaying formation. Boom. Upon hearing the old man's words, Tuobaland's mind exploded. The ancestor of the Tuoba branch family was at the golden immortal realm. Even he could not escape the god-slaying formation's encirclement, let alone them. Although it's difficult for me to break the god-slaying formation, I can kill you. Ningyu put down Zhou Wen and Tuobalan and charged towards the old man with the red fiend's sword in hand. Capture the ringleader. The god-slaying formation was indeed terrifying and could even kill golden immortal expert. Ningyu naturally did not have absolute confidence in breaking it. However, not having confidence in breaking the god-slaying formation did not mean that there was no way to escape. The crux of the problem lay with the old man. As long as he killed the old man, all problems could be solved. Kill me? Seems like you don't know the might of the god-slaying formation. The old man's lips curled up and he said coldly, God-slaying formation. Boom. As the old man's words fell, a terrifying golden cold beam of light shot out from the center of the formation. The energy contained within the golden cold beam of light was so powerful that even Ningyu was moved. Red Fiend, you block the golden cold beam of light. I'll be in charge of killing the old man. Ningyu's gaze flickered and he finally made that decision. At this moment, that was the only way. One person blocked the golden cold beam of light, which was the impact of the god-slaying formation. The other person had to kill the old man in the shortest time possible. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Swoosh. Swoosh. Ningyu and the Red Fiend did not waste any time. The Red Fiend charged towards the golden cold light. As for Ningyu, he charged towards the elder with the Red Fiend's sword in hand. Humph! Do you think I'm a sick cat if I don't show my prowess? The old man snorted coldly and said in an awe-inspiring tone, Since you're courting death, then don't blame me. This day next year will be the day you die. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Ningyu and the old man were locked in a fierce battle. Although the Red Demon hadn't fused with the Red Demon's sword, Ningyu was still evenly matched with the old man by relying on his own strength and the toughness of the Red Demon's sword. However, the Red Devil on the other side was not so lucky. The golden cold light was extremely powerful, and Hong Mo was in a perilous situation. He was almost killed several times. Wait a little longer. Ningyu's expression was gloomy. While he fought with the old man, he secretly observed the changes in the old man's expression. What he needed to do was to make the old man careless and let the old man determine his true strength. Once the old man revealed such an expression, he would immediately release the flaming beasts from the Red Demon's sword. Each of the two flaming beasts could exert the combat power of half Yuan power. This would definitely give the old man a big surprise. Ha ha ha! The old man laughed maniacally. This was because the situation was extremely favorable to him. He boasted that he had roughly figured out Ningyu's strength, which was slightly weaker than his. Under such circumstances, coupled with the god-slaying formation, he was already in an invincible position. This is my chance. How could Ningyu let go of such a rare opportunity? The old man had just revealed a satisfied expression when he opened the Red Demon's sword and released the two flaming beasts. Roar! Roar! After the flaming beasts were subdued by Ningyu, they had been staying in the Red Demon's sword along the way. Now that they had the chance to come out, they were naturally very excited. They raised their heads and roared angrily, charging at the old man with all their might. I'm going to kill you! The two flaming beasts that suddenly appeared caused the old man's expression to change drastically. He did not expect Ningyu to have such a trump card. Without any time to think, he immediately retreated, wanting to avoid the fatal blow from the flaming beast. Poochie! Poochie! However, it was already too late for the old man to think of retreating at this moment. The two flaming beasts each threw a punch, hitting the old man's heart accurately. How powerful were the flaming beasts! Even though the old man was a golden immortal expert, he fell to the ground on the spot after being hit by the two flaming beasts. His aura plummeted. Huff! Seeing the old man defeated, the red demon could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Without the old man's control, the god-slaying formation's attacks disappeared completely. Although it was still difficult to break the god-slaying formation, defeating the old man was the most important thing. I can't accept this. The old man extended his right hand and pointed at Ningyu fiercely. It was a fair competition between us. How dare you sneak attack me? Idiot. Ningyu could not be bothered to talk nonsense with the old man. He waved his hand and gestured for the red demon to come over. Swish. The red demon knew what Ningyu meant. He stepped on the old man's head, causing his brain juice to spill out. Following that, the devouring power in the red demon's body surged out and began devouring the old man. I'll give it to you. Ningyu picked up the golden sword on the ground. After some thought, he handed it to Zhouwen. The old man was a golden immortal, so he definitely had golden immortal laws in his body. By devouring him, the red demon could naturally extract the golden immortal laws to strengthen the red demon sword. Therefore, the red demon sword would definitely advance to the level of a golden treasure. Zhouwen was a member of the upper echelons of Supreme Palace. Ningyu felt that it was only right to give him a golden treasure. For me? Zhouwen was a little dumbfounded when he received the golden sword that Ningyu threw over. This was a golden treasure, a Dharma treasure that even golden immortal experts dreamed of. Ningyu actually gave it to him directly? What's with the nonsense? Just take it. Ningyu rolled his eyes at Zhouwen and said, "Hurry up and recuperate. Later, everyone will attack together and think of a way to break the god-slaughtering formation." As he spoke, Ningyu threw another bottle of lightning tribulation liquid to Zhouwen. The profound immortal tribulation produced a lot of lightning tribulation liquid. Ningyu's current body was almost at the limits of a mid-stage profound immortal. If he continued to devour the lightning tribulation liquid, he would only be able to replenish the energy he expended. It would be very difficult to increase his strength and body's toughness. As for the remaining lightning tribulation liquid, Ningyu planned to hand them all to the upper echelons of Supreme Palace. Whoever contributed the most to Supreme Palace would be rewarded with the lightning tribulation liquid. "Thank you, Palace Master." Zhouwen knelt on one knee and said respectfully. "Gulp." Seeing the lightning tribulation liquid in Zhouwen's hand, Tuobalan couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Tuobalan knew very well that if she also obtained a bottle of lightning tribulation liquid, her cultivation would have a high chance of advancing to a half-step golden immortal. This was because she had already stayed at the peak of profound immortal for many years and had accumulated all sorts of things. She just lacked an opportunity. With an opportunity, advancing to a half-step golden immortal was something that would happen naturally. Only those who contributed greatly to Supreme Palace can obtain the lightning tribulation liquid as a reward. How could Ningyu not know what Tuobalan was thinking in her heart? However, he definitely wouldn't give Tuobalan the lightning tribulation liquid. The only exception would be if Tuobalan joined the Sovereign Palace and made great contributions to the Sovereign Palace. Master Wei. Chapter 2135. All right. After weighing the pros and cons, Ningyu threw 2 bottles of lightning tribulation liquid to the flaming beast. Although he had dealt with the old man, he still needed to crack the god-slaughtering formation. Ningyu knew very well that it would be very difficult to crack the god-slaughtering formation with just him and Red Fiend. With the help of the flaming beasts, the chances of breaking the formation would greatly increase. "Thank you, Master." After receiving the lightning tribulation liquid from Ningyu, the 2 flaming beasts hurriedly thanked him. To the flaming beasts, as long as Ningyu was willing, he could take their lives at any time. Therefore, they had to thank Ningyu for giving them the lightning tribulation liquid. They couldn't say anything if he didn't give them the lightning tribulation liquid. With the help of the lightning tribulation liquid, Zhou Wen quickly recovered to his peak state. In fact, his strength even increased a little. Get ready. Seeing that Zhou Wen had recovered to his peak state, Ningyu waved his hand at the flaming beasts and said, 3 minutes later, attack with me. Without the old man's control, the god slaughtering formation's power had decreased by at least several times. This was the best time to crack the god slaughtering formation. Attack! 3 minutes passed quickly. Ningyu gathered all the immortal qi in his body on his wrist and punched out. Rumble! The terrifying fist radiance blasted straight at the god slaughtering formation's formation core. Slash! Red Fiend fused with the Red Fiend sword and used the Red Fiend sword to attack the formation core. The flaming beasts, Zhou Wen, and the rest all launched powerful attacks. Even Tuobalan, who was only at the peak of Xian Immortal, didn't stay idle. She also punched out at the formation core. Crack! With everyone adding firewood, the flames rose higher. Under the combined attacks of Ningyu and the rest, the formation core didn't last long before it shattered. The formation core cracked, announcing the destruction of the god slaughtering formation. Let's go! After breaking the god slaughtering formation, Ningyu wouldn't foolishly stay on the spot. He glanced back, then grabbed the Red Fiend's sword and tore through the void. The two flaming beasts brought Zhou Wen and Tuobalan respectively and disappeared behind Ningyu. Voila! As soon as Ningyu and the others disappeared, the void behind them suddenly split open, and 2 old men appeared. Damn it! We're still a step too late. One of the white-haired old men cursed. Ta Ba Feng has been killed and his gold treasure has been stolen. Another slightly chubby elder said in a low voice. Chase them, the murderer must still be in the half-god city. Anyone who dares to harm the Tuoba clan must pay the price. The figures of the white-haired old man and the chubby old man flashed and disappeared in an instant. Whoosh! Meanwhile, Ningyu, the fire beast, and the others had already returned to the restaurant they had booked when they entered the half-god city. Looks like I have to raise my cultivation to the late Xian immortal stage as soon as possible. In the room, Ningyu's expression was slightly solemn as he murmured. With his current strength, coupled with the Red Devil sword, the Red Devil, and the 2 flaming beasts, he could fight against an early-stage golden immortal expert. However, once he encountered an intermediate golden immortal warrior or even a peak early golden immortal warrior, he would definitely die. Plus, if he wanted to go to the Tai E Divine sect, he had to participate in the Tai E Divine sect's selection. The entire half-god city was ruled by the 3 major clans. If he wanted to participate in the selection, he had to be recommended by one of the clans. Otherwise, he wouldn't even have the right to be selected. With Ningyu's strength, it wasn't difficult for him to receive a clan's recommendation. However, he was afraid that the Tuoba clan would notice something was wrong and cause trouble. Therefore, it was imperative for him to raise his cultivation to the late-stage Xian immortal stage. Are there any large-scale auctions in the half-god city or forbidden grounds that can quickly raise one's cultivation? At the thought of this, Ningyu turned to look at Tuobalan and asked. He had just advanced to the mid-stage Xian immortal stage not too long ago, so the lightning tribulation liquid had very little effect on him. He had to rely on other things, otherwise, it would be very difficult for him to advance to the late-stage Xian immortal stage. Yes. Tuobalan had already communicated with Ningyu and knew that Ningyu was the palace master of the Supreme Hall. Under such circumstances, she naturally answered all of Ningyu's questions without hiding anything. 3 days later, the Tai E Divine sect will be selecting disciples in the half-god city. Therefore, there will be a large-scale auction at the half-god auction house tomorrow, said Tuobalan. Large-scale auction? Generally speaking, a large-scale auction mentioned by a peak Xian immortal stage warrior would definitely have many good items. Going to the auction to try his luck should be the right choice. As for the number of Xian crystals, Ningyu wasn't particularly worried. No matter what, he was the palace master of the Supreme Hall. The Supreme Hall ruled over several mid-level dominions and countless low-level dominions. Be it heaven crystals or Xian crystals, the number was very large. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the number of Xian crystals Ningyu had on him could even reach half of the Tuoba clan. Of course, Xian crystals alone weren't enough. Some sellers specifically asked for Xian crystals. They had to have Xian crystals before they could be traded. Although Ningyu had killed a golden immortal expert of the Tuoba clan, he only obtained a little over 10,000 Xian crystals from him. Looks like I have to think of a way to get some Xian crystals. Ningyu frowned slightly as he thought about how to get his hands on Xian crystals. Unlike Xian crystals were only used by golden immortal experts. Even Xian immortal experts would find it difficult to get their hands on a piece of Xian crystal. I have Xian crystals here. Do you want them? A voice rang in Ningyu's ears as soon as he finished his sentence. Ningyu seemed to have guessed that someone would come. He said indifferently, "Since you're here, why don't you show your true face?" Whoosh! The next moment, the void cracked and a young martial artist slowly walked out of the void. Nangong Ling. Ningyu didn't have much of a reaction when he saw the old man. However, Tuoba Lan beside him had a surprised expression. While surprised, Tuoba Lan had a puzzled expression. Although Nangong Ling was the third son of the Nangong clan master, he couldn't sense the heaven-earth essence qi since birth and couldn't cultivate. However, Nangong Ling didn't look like someone who couldn't cultivate at all. If she wasn't wrong, Nangong Ling's cultivation was at the terrifying half-step golden immortal realm. You've killed Tuoba Feng. The Tuoba clan won't let this go easily. Nangong Ling found a chair and sat down. He said, "Don't think that the Tuoba clan is weak in Half-God City. However, I can tell you clearly that the Tuoba clan has an old ancestor who's at the half-step ancestral immortal realm." Ningyu's expression changed slightly when he heard that. Golden immortals were mighty figures, while ancestral immortals could become perfected lords. Those below mighty figures were ants, while those below perfected lords were all subjects. I'll be straightforward. What do you want? Ningyu concealed the shock in his eyes well and said, "I've never had any grudges with the Nangong clan. Why did you come to see me?" "That's right. You might not have any grudges with the Nangong clan, but we do have some history." Nangong Ling nodded and explained, "Zhao Rui asked me to look for you. She said that a young man will come to Half-God City soon." Chapter 2136. Nangong Ling did not say anything. He took out a crystal ball and handed it to Ningyu. He took the crystal ball. Ningyu discovered that there was a portrait of him in the crystal ball. Moreover, the aura emitted from the crystal ball was his aura. Without a doubt, Nangong Ling had determined that he was Ningyu based on the portrait and aura in the crystal ball. "Why did Zhao Rui ask you to look for me?" Ningyu returned the crystal ball and said, "She made you back off." Nangong Ling shrugged and said, "The Tai E Divine Sex selection criteria is to reach the late profound immortal stage and be under 1,000 years old. Can you contact her?" Ningyu frowned. "I can't contact him for now, but I'll be able to contact him after I enter the Tai E Divine Sect." Nangong Ling shook her head and said solemnly to Ningyu, "I can help you improve your cultivation to the late Xian immortal realm, but you have to do something for me after you enter the Tai E Divine Sect. Why don't you tell me?" Ningyu wanted to refuse, but when he remembered that Nangong Ling and Zhao Rui knew each other, he decided to listen to what Nangong Ling wanted him to do. If it was simple, he could agree to it. After all, with Nangong Ling's identity as the third young master of the Nangong clan, it wouldn't be a problem for him to obtain a spot in the selection. Now that he had offended Nangong Ling, he could only try his luck at the Ram clan. "Help me deal with Nangong Yu." Nangong Ling gritted his teeth. It could be seen that Nangong Ling was extremely furious at the mention of Nangong Yu. The eldest son of the Nangong family, Nangong Yu? Tuoba Lan was puzzled. The Tuoba family had a total of 3 young masters, and each of them was very popular in the half-god city. Among them, Nangong Yu was the eldest son. 3 years ago, he successfully passed the selection and entered the Tai Divine sect, directly becoming a core disciple of the Tai Divine sect. Nangong Fei, the second young master of the Nangong clan, was a half-step golden immortal at such a young age, only a step away from becoming a true golden immortal. Nangong Ling. Well, this was a little awkward. He was known as a good-for-nothing. Since birth, he had been unable to cultivate. Ah! Nangong Ling raised his head and laughed wildly. After laughing wildly, he said coldly, Nangong Yu is the eldest son of the Nangong family? If it wasn't for his vicious mother drugging my mother, causing me to stay in my mother's womb for half a month, I would be the eldest young master of the Nangong clan. After I was born, not only was his vicious mother not willing to let it go, she even took advantage of me and used evil arts to nibble away at my veins, making my whole body feel excruciating pain whenever I cultivated. If that's all, it's fine. But when I was 10 years old, I saw Nangong Yu and his vicious mother kill my mother with my own eyes and destroy the evidence. The more he spoke, the more furious Nangong Ling became. In the end, he unleashed his entire body's aura, crazily suppressing the surroundings. Why would your father Nangong Ba allow such a thing to happen? Tuoba Lan asked. Nangong Ba? Ah! How dare he touch Nangong Yu and that bitch? That bitch has a brother in the Tai Divine sect who is a real ancestral immortal. Ka ka ka. Nangong Ling was extremely angry. He clenched his fists so hard that they made cracking sound. Nangong Yu has an ancestral, immortal uncle. Why do you think I can help you deal with him? Ningyu gently waved his right hand to suppress Nangong Ling's aura and asked. You can definitely do it. Nangong Ling gritted his teeth and said, Zhao Rui told me that even if you go to the demigod city, your cultivation will only be at the peak of heaven immortal. But now your cultivation is at the middle stage of Xian immortal and your strength is close to that of a golden immortal. I believe you. It's useless to believe me. No matter how much you believe me, I'm no match for an ancestral immortal expert. Ningyu said lightly. Nangong Ling really thought highly of him. He was not even a golden immortal, but Nangong Ling actually asked him to deal with Nangong Yu, who had an ancestral immortal uncle. What was this? He was courting death. There is a Wuliang cave in the Nangong clan. The immortal qi inside is 1,000 times that of the outside world. Nangong Ling said in a deep voice, I can find a way to let you cultivate in there for 3 days. After 3 days, your cultivation will at least reach the late stage of Xian immortal. 1,000 times? Hearing Nangong Ling's words, Ningyu's mouth opened slightly and his face was full of surprise. What did 1,000 times mean? 1 day of cultivation in the outside world was 1,000 days of cultivation in there. 3 days was equivalent to 3,000 days of cultivation, which was more than 8 years. In 8 years, even without any external help, Ningyu was confident that he could raise his cultivation to the peak of Xian immortal or even the half-step golden immortal realm. Deal. Without much thought, Ningyu agreed to Nangong Ling's request. Where else could he find such a good opportunity? There's no time to lose. Let's go now. Nangong Ling seemed very anxious and said, I left the Nangong clan secretly this time. If I return late, I'm likely to be discovered by the people who are monitoring me. What about them? Ningyu pointed at Zhouwen and Tuoba Lan and asked. Zhouwen and Tuoba Lan looked at Nangong Ling with hope. To be honest, they also wanted to cultivate in the Wuliang cave. For any martial artist, 1,000 times the density of immortal qi was what they desired. I can only get you in. Nangong Ling shook his head and said, but they can go back with me. I have a place for them. Nangong Ling also had his own plans. He was currently weak, while Zhou was a half-step golden immortal and Tuobalan was a peak Xian immortal. As for the two fire beasts, they were even at the half-step primordial immortal realm. With their participation, he could even openly expose his strength during the Tai E Divine Sex selection and participate in it. After all, he had been in the Nangong clan for many years and had already gained the trust of some elders. Most of those elders were people who were persecuted by Nangong Yu and his mother and had nowhere else to go. Sure. Ningyu agreed to Nangong Ling's plan after some thought. He wouldn't be able to hide the fact that he killed Tuoba Feng for long. Given the power of the Tuoba clan, as long as they investigated carefully, they would definitely be able to find him. At this time, he had to do everything possible to improve his cultivation. Influence was the absolute truth. Once he had the cultivation of a half-step golden immortal, his strength would at least double. At that time, even if he encountered a mid-stage golden immortal realm martial artist, he would be able to fight and even kill him easily. And for these 3 days, leaving Zhou and Tuobalan in the Nangong clan was also a good choice. Follow me. Nangong Ling's figure flashed and merged into the void. Following closely behind, Ningyu led Zhou, Tuobalan, and the others to follow. Buzz. As soon as Ningyu and Nangong Ling left, the void split again and 2 old men appeared. A slightly chubby old man and a white-haired old man. These 2 old men were the 2 golden immortal experts of the Tuoba clan who appeared at the god-slaying array not long ago. Damn it! I'm a step late again. The white-haired old man's face was extremely gloomy. He was extremely angry that he was late again and again. Chapter 2137. Nangong Family. With Nangong Ling leading the way, Ningyu and the rest quickly sneaked into the Nangong family. Nangong Ling didn't waste any time. He first arranged for Zhou, Tuobalan, and the rest, then carefully brought Ningyu to Immeasurable Cave. Of course, Nangong Ling definitely wouldn't go through the main entrance. Secret passage. Nangong Ling knew of a secret passage that led to Immeasurable Cave. In the huge Nangong family, there were only 2 people who knew of this secret passage. One was Nangong Ling, and the other was his mother. Hiss! Just as he passed through the secret passage and entered Immeasurable Cave, Ningyu couldn't help but gasp. The density of immortal energy in Immeasurable Cave was simply too high. It was so high that it was terrifying. Nangong Ling's 1,000 times was probably a conservative estimate. Immeasurable Cave has 3 regions. As though he saw Ningyu's shock, Nangong Ling's words rang out. The first region has 100 times more immortal energy than the outside world. The second region has 1,000 times more immortal energy than the outside world. As for the third region, at this point, Nangong Ling paused for a moment before continuing. Ever since the Nangong family occupied Immeasurable Cave, no one has ever reached there. In order to prevent Ningyu from doing stupid things, Nangong Ling felt that he needed to explain to Ningyu. Dense immortal energy was a good thing, but the denser the immortal energy, the greater the pressure. 1,000 times more immortal energy meant that the pressure was 1,000 times more than the outside world. You have 3 days to cultivate. 3 days later, I will pick you up at the exit. Nangong Ling didn't plan on staying to cultivate. After all, he still had many things to deal with. For example, helping Ningyu get a spot in the selection. This matter seemed simple, but with his status, it was very difficult to accomplish. Swoosh. Looking at Nangong Ling's departing figure, Ningyu stomped his feet and rushed towards the depths of Immeasurable Cave. Ningyu's target was the second region, the place with 1,000 times more immortal energy. He only had 3 days, so there was no need to waste it on the outer region. As he went deeper into Immeasurable Cave, Ningyu felt the pressure increasing. 500 times. 600 times. 700 times, 8,000 times. After half an hour, Ning Yu finally arrived at the second region of the immeasurable cave. 1,000-fold pressure suddenly pressed down on Ning Yu. Whoosh! Ning Yu gritted his teeth, sat down cross-legged, and began to cultivate. Ning Yu had never encountered such dense immortal qi before. Devour! A terrifying devouring power emanated from Ning Yu's body, frantically devouring the surrounding immortal qi. Crackle! In just an hour, Ning Yu felt a huge change in his sea of consciousness. His cultivation had reached the peak of the intermediate stage of the mysterious immortal realm. He was only a step away from the late Xian immortal stage. If I cultivate for another day, I'll definitely be able to advance to the late profound immortal stage. Ning Yu was overjoyed. He'd thought that he could smoothly advance to the advanced stage of the profound immortal realm, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. Advancing from the intermediate stage of the mysterious immortal realm to the advanced stage of the mysterious immortal realm in a single day was indeed slightly unexpected. Qi. What Ning Yu didn't know was that while he was devouring the immortal qi, the two martial artists who were responsible for throwing Xian crystals into the immeasurable pool of the Nangong family were puzzled. Usually, the immeasurable pool would only sound an alarm when the powerhouses of the family entered to cultivate, asking them to throw Xian crystals in. There didn't seem to be any powerhouses entering the immeasurable cave to cultivate today, right? Why would the immeasurable pool sound an alarm? Go and find out who is cultivating in the immeasurable cave. One of the intermediate stage Xian immortal martial artists said in a low voice. Whoosh! The other early stage Xian immortal martial artist left in a hurry. After a while, the early stage Xian immortal martial artist returned and said, "It's second young master, Nangong Fei." Nangong Fei? The mid-stage Xian immortal martial artist nodded and said, "With such a big commotion, Nangong Fei must be advancing to the golden immortal stage. Go and prepare the Xian crystals. We must ensure that Nangong Fei advances successfully." At the same time, inside the immeasurable cave, Ning Yu was cultivating while releasing his perception to carefully probe the surroundings. This was the immeasurable cave, the territory of the Nangong family. Ning Yu didn't want to meet the geniuses of the Nangong family here. After all, he sneaked in. It would be troublesome if he was discovered. Not long after he released his perception, Ning Yu raised his eyebrows. Because he found a martial artist in a deeper place. The area where this martial artist was located was between the second and third areas of the immeasurable cave. According to Ning Yu's observation, the density of the immortal qi should be about 1,500 times. 1,500 times the density of the immortal qi meant that the pressure had also reached 1,500 times. He looks a bit like Nangong Ling. Is he Nangong Yu? Ning Yu frowned slightly. But soon, Ning Yu shook his head. Nangong Ling said that Nangong Yu had already entered the Tai Divine sect and became a core disciple. So, the young martial artist in front of him should be Nangong Ling's second brother, Nangong Fei. Ning Yu's mind became active. Since Nangong Yu entered the Tai Divine sect, Nangong Fei's status in the Nangong family soared. Nangong Fei often bullied Nangong Ling. Moreover, Nangong Fei and Nangong Yu had a very good relationship. Forget it, let's cultivate first. Ning Yu shook his head slowly and decided to cultivate first. Time waited for no man and wasting time was shameful. Besides, with Ning Yu's current strength, he might not be a match for Nangong Fei. The fact that Nangong Fei could cultivate in a place with 1,500 times the pressure of the immeasurable cave showed that he was very strong. There was a 0 point in the immeasurable cave. 1,000 times the pressure was equivalent to what an early-stage golden immortal could bear. And 1,500 times the pressure was equivalent to what a mid-stage golden immortal could bear. Since Nangong Fei could cultivate in a place with 1,500 times the pressure, it showed that his comprehensive strength was comparable to a mid-stage Golden Immortal. Let's talk about it when I reach the late-stage Xian Immortal. Ningyu began to cultivate secretly and even stayed away from Nangong Fei to avoid being discovered by him. Tick, tick, time flew by. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Boom! With a muffled sound, Ningyu's cultivation advanced from the mid-stage Xian Immortal to the late-stage Xian Immortal. Ningyu's late-stage Xian Immortal was a little different from other late-stage Xian Immortals. The peak of the late-stage Xian Immortal. What he advanced from the mid-stage Xian Immortal was not the ordinary late-stage Xian Immortal, but the peak of the late-stage Xian Immortal. In a sense, he was only a layer of window paper away from the peak of the Xian Immortal. Who? As soon as Ningyu advanced to the peak of the late-stage Xian Immortal, Nangong Fei, who was in the depths of the immeasurable cave, noticed something. Swish! Chapter 2138. Seeing that Nangong Fei didn't make a move directly but asked, Ningyu rolled his eyes and said, "Of course he swaggered in. Did he sneak in? What a fool. I'm just a late Xian Immortal. If I wasn't invited by the Nangong family, how would I dare to enter the Wuliang cave? You'd better think about it before asking some questions." Ningyu wasn't a fool. He wouldn't admit that he snuck in even if he was beaten to death. This was the depths of the Wuliang cave anyway. Nangong Fei wouldn't be able to get out in a short time. As long as Nangong Fei couldn't get in touch with the outside world, he could keep lying. Humph! Nangong Fei snorted. Wuliang Cave is an important place. Only those who have made great contributions to the Nangong family can enter. I don't know how you got in. Great contributions? Ningyu curled his lips and looked Nangong Fei up and down. If you weren't the second young master of the Nangong family, you wouldn't have been able to come in. What did you say? Nangong Fei's eyes widened. Say it again if you dare. It seems that I was right. Some people relied on their high status to enter the infinite cave through the back door. Ningyu shrugged and didn't answer the question. 3 days later, I will represent the Nangong family to participate in the selection of the Tai Yi Divine Sect. At that time, I will definitely enter the sect and even be selected as a core disciple. Nangong Fei said coldly. Oh, I see. In the end, you still haven't said that you have made great contributions to the Nangong family. Ningyu rolled his eyes. You're courting death. Nangong Fei couldn't take it anymore. He clenched his fists and punched Ningyu's face with a violent gust of immortal qi. This punch was extremely powerful. If Ningyu was unlucky enough to be hit, he would be crippled even if he didn't die. I see. Seeing Nangong Fei's attack, Ningyu's worried heart finally relaxed. The reason why Nangong Fei could cultivate under 1,500 times the pressure wasn't because his strength was equivalent to an intermediate golden immortal, but because he had a golden treasure on him. Nangong Fei was a mid-stage gold treasure. With the help of Jin Bao's power, Nangong Fei was able to stay at a place 1,500 times the distance to cultivate. Otherwise, just the 1,500 times pressure alone would be enough to make Nangong Fei suffer. You're not even a gold immortal and yet you dare attack me? Ningyu clenched his right fist and collided with Nangong Fei's fist. Nangong Fei's strength was equivalent to Ningyu, who had yet to advance to the late profound immortal stage. Now that Ningyu had advanced to the advanced Xian immortal stage, Nangong Fei was naturally no match for him. Bang! The two fists collided. A crisp sound rang out. Nangong Fei was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Ningyu did not use his full strength in this attack. After all, he still had to rely on the Nangong family to participate in the Tai Yi Divine Sect selection. If he killed Nangong Fei here, then his trip to the Tai Yi Divine Sect would probably be ruined. You're no match for me. Ningyu did not continue to pursue after his successful attack. Instead, he stretched out his finger and shook it. You can't even defeat me. It seems that you're destined to not become a core disciple in the Tai-E Divine Sect selection. Ka ka ka. Hearing Ningyu's mockery, Nangong Fei clenched his fists and said fiercely, There are still 2 days left. When I advance to the Golden Immortal stage, it will be the time of your death. As his voice fell, Nangong Fei's figure flashed. He took out his golden treasure and rushed into the depths of the infinite cave. Hong Mo, where do you think we can go to cultivate with the grade of the Red Demon Sword? Looking at Nangong Fei, who was constantly leaving, Ningyu frowned slightly and began to communicate with Hong Mo. Ningyu's current strength could contend with and even kill an early Golden Immortal Stage warrior. However, the place that an early Golden Immortal Stage warrior could only go to was between 1,000 to 1,500 times. To go to a place 1,500 times, one would need to rely on external forces. I'm not very sure about the specifics, but according to my estimation, I should be able to go to a place 2,000 times. Hong Mo said. Why didn't you say so earlier? Hearing Hong Mo's words, Ningyu immediately cursed. Why didn't you say so earlier? If Ningyu knew that he could use the Red Demon Sword to cultivate 2,000 times, he would definitely not stay in a place 1,000 times and waste a day. The greater the pressure, the more vigorous the immortal chi, and the faster the cultivation speed. If he had cultivated in a place 2,000 times from the start, Ningyu even felt that he had a chance to become a Golden Immortal. Let's go. Without wasting any time, Ningyu's figure flashed and rushed into the depths of the infinite cave. In just an instant, Ningyu arrived beside Nangong Fei. I'll go first. After a short pause, Ningyu held the Red Demon Sword and continued forward. How is this possible? Nangong Fei's eyes widened, his face full of shock. The reason he could cultivate in a place 1,500 times was because he had gold treasures. Looking at Ningyu's posture, could it be that he had a late-stage golden treasure? 2,000 times. Seeing Ningyu stop at a place 2,000 times, Nangong Fei's face turned pale. The one who laughs last is the winner. Nangong Fei snorted coldly. Then, he ignored Ningyu and focused on his cultivation. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, the next day had passed. Boom! A muffled sound came from Ningyu's body. This sound meant that Ningyu's cultivation had risen from the peak late-stage Xian Immortal to the peak of the Xian Immortal. Damn it! Feeling the aura emanating from Ningyu's body, Nangong Fei cursed again. The people around the infinite pool did not know what happened in the infinite cave. At this moment, 2 warriors quietly appeared beside the infinite pool. One of them was Nangong Fei's father, the head of the Nangong family, Nangong Xiongba. The other was Nangong Fei's birth mother, Yuan Ran. The 2 warriors in charge of guarding the infinite pool kept adding gold crystals into the pool, not even bothering to wipe the sweat off their forehead. Fei did not let me down. Yuan Ran nodded in satisfaction. The Tai-E Divine Sect selection was in a day. As long as her son Nangong Fei could advance to the Golden Immortal stage, he would most likely become a core disciple of the Tai-E Divine Sect. At that time, her status would naturally rise because of her son. Ran, why don't you let Nangong Ling try the infinite cave? He might be able to cultivate. Nangong Xiongba frowned slightly and said, The envoy of the Tai-E Divine Sect has arrived at Half-God City. I went to see him yesterday, and he said that someone in the Tai-E Divine Sect seems to know Nangong Ling. That trash. Yuan Ran's face turned cold and said in a deep voice, How can anyone enter the infinite cave? Even if that trash wants to enter, he has to wait until my son advances to the Golden Immortal stage. Chapter 2139. Hearing Yuan Ran's words, Nangong Xiongba opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but ultimately chose to shut up. At the end of the day, Nangong Xiongba, as the family head, was the most aggrieved. His eldest son, Nangong Yu's mother, had an elder brother in the Tai-E divine sect, and his cultivation had reached the ancestral immortal realm. As for Yuan Ran, her family was also a superpower. Sigh, it's been hard on Ling'er. Nangong Xiongba sighed and murmured, when Nangong Fei enters the Tai-E divine sect, I will definitely make it up to you. Boom. At the same time, in the depths of the Wuliang cave, following a muffled sound, Ning Yu's cultivation had advanced from the peak Xian immortal realm to the half-step golden immortal realm. Not only had Ning Yu's cultivation improved, but the strength of the Red Fiend had also improved by leaps and bounds. In fact, the Red Fiend had advanced from the half-step golden immortal realm to the true golden immortal realm. The advancement of the Red Fiend to the golden immortal realm meant that the grade of the Red Fiend's sword had also reached the gold treasure level. Using the Red Fiend's sword, Ning Yu directly rushed into the depths of the Wuliang cave. In a short period of time, he had already traveled 3,000 times. Damn it! All of Ning Yu's actions were seen by Nangong Fei. Clenching his fists, Nangong Fei trembled in anger. The Wuliang cave was huge enough to accommodate many people to cultivate at the same time. But what made Nangong Fei furious was that the speed at which Ning Yu devoured the immortal qi was too fast, so fast that it was terrifying. Whenever the immortal qi flowed in from the Wuliang pool, most of it would be devoured by Ning Yu. In the end, only a little bit of immortal qi landed on his body. I have to stop him. Nangong Fei gritted his teeth and immediately mobilized the gold treasure he carried with him, rushing towards Ning Yu. Nangong Fei was very clear. While Ning Yu had not advanced to the golden immortal realm, he could still contend with Ning Yu a little, and even use some special arrays in the Wuliang cave to trap Ning Yu. Once Ning Yu advanced to the golden immortal realm, even if he used special arrays, he would not be a match for Ning Yu. Voila! Ning Yu continued heading towards the depths of the infinite cave. He planned to cultivate at a place 5,000 times the distance and fight for the last day to completely raise his cultivation level to the golden immortal realm. However, as soon as Ning Yu arrived 4,000 times, his expression changed greatly. That was because he discovered that 4 pillars of immortal energy had suddenly risen around him. Although the light pillars were only as thick as a person's waist, each of them contained an extremely terrifying immortal qi. You'd better stay where you are. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what will happen. Nangong Fei's voice rang in Ning Yu's ears. Hearing this, Ning Yu was stunned at first, then he completely understood. It was all Nangong Fei's doing. Do you think these immortal qi light pillars can trap me? The corner of Ning Yu's mouth curled up, and he said sinisterly, if you had used these immortal qi light pillars when I first arrived, I might have been afraid. But now, at this point, Ning Yu paused for a moment, then the red demon's sword in his hand suddenly pierced out. Boom! An extremely frightening engulfing force shot out from the red demon's sword. Wah! The devouring power was extremely terrifying. In just an instant, it completely devoured the immortal qi light pillar. How is this possible? The sudden change caused Nangong Fei's eyes to widen, and his face was filled with disbelief. Could it be that his father, Nangong Xiongba, was lying to him? He had heard from Nangong Xiongba that as long as the array in the infinite cave was activated, unless a martial artist with the strength of a golden immortal advanced stage appeared, it would be impossible to break the array. Could it be that Ning Yu's strength had reached the golden immortal advanced stage? But no matter how he looked at it, Ning Yu did not seem to be able to display the strength of a golden immortal advanced stage. I'm not a golden immortal. To be honest. Apart from Nangong Fei, even Ning Yu himself could not help but swear. It was not the red demon sword that had truly exploded with the devouring power, but the time pagoda and the essence creation divine staff. During the process of cultivation, Ning Yu realized that the time pagoda and the essence creation divine staff were exploding with strong desires. Therefore, Ning Yu temporarily released their desires, and let them deal with the immortal Qi light pillars together. Who would have thought that the next time he released them, they would immediately devour the immortal Qi light pillars? Crack, crack, crack. 3 minutes. Including the devouring of the first immortal Qi light pillar, it only took a total of 3 minutes for the 4 immortal Qi light pillars to be completely devoured. Buzz buzz. What happened next shocked Ningyu a little. The immortal Qi that the Time Pagoda and the Essence Creation Divine Staff devoured, after being transformed, all surged into his body. In other words, the Time Pagoda and the Essence Creation Divine Staff were completely helping him devour. Boom, boom. The immortal Qi contained in the 4 immortal Qi light pillars was so abundant that it was suffocating. Ningyu's spiritual energy sea was already big enough, but it was still a little swollen after being filled with the immortal Qi, letting out dull banging sounds. Oh no, it's going to explode. Ningyu's expression changed drastically. If this situation continued, it would not be long before his spiritual energy sea would definitely explode. There was only one way now. That was to break through to the Golden Immortal Realm and completely advance to the Golden Immortal Realm, doubling the size of his spiritual energy sea. Otherwise, this day next year would be the anniversary of his death. Protect me. Ningyu instructed the Red Demon, then sat down cross-legged and began to break through to the Golden Immortal Realm. There was a great benefit to breaking through to the Golden Immortal Realm in the Infinite Cave. That was, the Infinite Cave could help him withstand the Golden Immortal Tribulation. Of course, even if the Infinite Cave helped him withstand the Golden Immortal Tribulation, he would still be able to enjoy the final baptism. That was the terrifying thing about the Infinite Cave. Let's see who will advance to the Golden Immortal Realm first. Nangong Fei also sat down cross-legged and began to break through to the Golden Immortal Realm. Boom, boom. In an instant, several rumbling sounds could be heard. A passageway appeared between Ningyu and Nangong Fei. The immortal Qi that surged in from the infinite pool was divided equally between the two of them. The situation was very clear. They were competing for the opportunity to advance to the Golden Immortal Realm. As long as one of them could advance to the Golden Immortal Realm, the other would definitely fail. The one who succeeded had a high chance of seizing the immortal Qi in the other warrior's body and breaking through to the mid-stage Golden Immortal Realm. As for the one who failed, he would have to bear it silently, and his cultivation might even fall to the Mystic Immortal Realm or even the Heavenly Immortal Realm. This was a gamble that could not be lost. Be it Nangong Fei or Ningyu, both of them had solemn expressions. At that moment, they had already given up on the idea of fighting each other and devoted themselves to breaking through to the Golden Immortal Realm. Golden Immortals were known as mighty figures. The reason why they were called mighty figures was because it was a difficult realm to break through. Since ancient times, many peerless geniuses had failed miserably and vanished on the path to the Golden Immortal Realm. The difficulty of becoming a mighty figure was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Also, the Golden Immortal Tribulation was a hurdle that was difficult to overcome. Many peerless geniuses had died during the Golden Immortal Tribulation. I'll let you see what a true genius is. Chapter 2140. Ha ha ha. Nangong Fei threw his head back and laughed. Everyone knew that the immortal Qi in the immeasurable pool was the key. Whoever could snatch more immortal Qi would have a higher chance of advancing to the Golden Immortal Realm. Now that 2/3 of the immortal Qi was snatched away by Nangong Fei, he was naturally overjoyed. Idiot! Ningyu glanced at Nangong Fei and said calmly. After devouring the immortal Qi in the 4 immortal Qi light pillars, the immortal Qi in his body had reached a critical point. Unless he could advance to the true Golden Immortal Realm, no amount of immortal Qi would be of any use. The reason why Nangong Fei still needed immortal Qi was because the immortal Qi in his consciousness had not reached its peak. It was clear who was stronger and who was weaker. Drip, drip, Time passed by the minutes and seconds. In the blink of an eye, 3 hours had passed. After 3 hours of devouring, the energy in Nangong Fei's consciousness had finally reached its peak. Break through! With a loud roar, Nangong Fei began to break through the golden immortal barrier. Crack, crack, crack! Several crisp sounds rang out. In the blink of an eye, Nangong Fei broke through 3 layers of the barrier. Great! Nangong Fei was overjoyed. At this rate, it would not be long before he could really break through to the golden immortal realm. Shifting his gaze, Nangong Fei looked at Ningyu. Nangong Fei froze on the spot when he saw what it was. Ningyu did not break through the golden immortal barrier. Instead, he was collecting the immortal qi from the immeasurable pool. Moreover, he used a secret technique to convert all the immortal qi into golden crystals. In a short period of time, Ningyu had converted more than 10,000 golden crystals. What the hell are you doing? Nangong Fei shouted. Ningyu looked up at Nangong Fei without saying a word. Actually, Ningyu was only left with the last layer of the golden immortal barrier. However, Ningyu did not want to break through to the golden immortal realm too early. Ningyu did not want to miss out on such a good opportunity to earn golden crystals. When Nangong Fei would be able to break through the golden immortal barrier was completely within Ningyu's control. As long as he advanced to the golden immortal stage before Nangong Fei, everything would be fine. Damn it! Nangong Fei cursed. He had no idea what Ningyu was doing. Lack of gold crystals? After staying in the Nangong family for so long, Nangong Fei had accumulated a lot of gold crystals. He had a total of 100,000 gold crystals. I'll teach you a lesson later. After cursing in his heart, Nangong Fei ignored Ningyu and focused all his energy on rushing towards the golden immortal stage. Ka. For the rest of the time, Ningyu and Nangong Fei lived together peacefully. Every few minutes, Nangong Fei would break through a few golden immortal barriers. As for Ningyu, he collected tens of thousands of gold crystals. Strictly speaking, Ningyu could collect 600,000 gold crystals in an hour. Ningyu was very satisfied with such a large number of gold crystals. The Tai Divine sect was a large sect. Once inside, they would definitely need a lot of gold crystals. Without the gold crystals, it would be difficult for him to move an inch. Time flew by. 10 hours passed quickly. In these 10 hours, Ningyu collected a total of 6 million gold crystals. Nangong Fei was only a step away from the golden immortal stage. Ha, golden immortal, give me. Nangong Fei laughed wildly at Ningyu like a rooster who had won. Sorry. However, before Nangong Fei finished his sentence, a terrifying aura emanated from Ningyu's body. Boom. Immediately after, Nangong Fei realized that the immortal qi in his body was flying towards Ningyu uncontrollably. My immortal qi, this is impossible! Nangong Fei yelled, his face was filled with shock. When he was trying to break through the golden immortal barrier, Ningyu was collecting gold crystals. Why was it that, in the end, Ningyu was the one who reached the golden immortal stage before him? Nothing is impossible, this is fate. Ningyu rolled his eyes, collecting the gold crystals while controlling Nangong Fei. Nangong Fei was always a problem, he couldn't kill him, so he could only control him. Otherwise, once Nangong Fei left the immeasurable cave, the consequences would be unimaginable. I have an idea. Suddenly, the Red Fiend's voice sounded in Ningyu's ears. What idea? Ningyu was stunned and asked. Possession. The Red Fiend said solemnly. What's the success rate? Ningyu frowned. The success rate is 80%. The Red Fiend thought for a moment and said. The immortal qi in Nangong Fei's body was decreasing, and it wouldn't be long before his strength dropped to the freezing point. At that time, the Red Fiend would control him and the success rate would be at least 80%. Alright. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu nodded and said, You're in charge of possessing Nangong Fei, I'll go accept the lightning tribulation baptism. The next moment, Ningyu leaped up and rushed towards the entrance of the immeasurable cave. The lightning tribulation baptism was a little closer to the entrance of the immeasurable cave. Fortunately, the final lightning tribulation baptism was not outside. Otherwise, Ningyu would have completely given up on the lightning tribulation baptism. "What are you doing?" Seeing the red fiend approaching him, Nangong Fei said in horror, "My father is the patriarch of the Nangong family, Nangong Xiongba, and my mother is Yuan Ran. The Yuan family is an ancestral immortal family, and they once had an ancestral immortal expert. What the hell, even if you're the king of heaven, you'll still be devoured by me today." The red fiend kicked Nangong Fei's head, knocking him out. Then, the red fiend's figure flashed and turned into a shadow, entering Nangong Fei's body. Possession not only required devouring Nangong Fei's essence spirit, but also his complete memories. Otherwise, it was likely to be discovered. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, 2 martial artists had already appeared at the entrance of the immeasurable cave. Nangong Xiongba Yuan Ran. Fei has advanced to the golden immortal realm. He will definitely become a core disciple of the Tai Divine sect. Yuan Ran was extremely excited, jumping up and down in excitement. This lightning tribulation liquid, relatively speaking, Nangong Xiongba was much more rational. He looked at the lightning tribulation liquid that was constantly flowing into the immeasurable cave, frowned and said, "I know Fei-er's talent, he's much worse than you-er's. Logically speaking, he shouldn't have so much lightning tribulation liquid." Nangong Xiongba. Yuan Ran said coldly, "Do you think Fei-er's talent is still that low? To tell you the truth, a month ago, my father sent someone to bring the 10,000-year frost pearl. Now Fei-er's talent is no worse than Nangong Yu's." "What? 10,000-year frost pearl?" Hearing Yuan Ran's words, Nangong Xiongba's face changed slightly. The 10,000-year frost pearl was the treasure of the Yuan family. Anyone who refined the 10,000-year frost pearl would have their talent greatly improved. Although Nangong Fei's talent was worse than Nangong Yu's, after improving his talent, he should be comparable to Nangong Yu. What is this? Inside the immeasurable cave, after the red fiend possessed Nangong Fei, he found an aquamarine pearl on Nangong Fei's body. The pearl was not too big, but it was abnormally cold. Even though the red fiend had advanced to the golden immortal realm, he did not dare to hold it for a long time. 10,000-year frost pearl. Secretly searching through the memories in his mind, the red fiend revealed a look of ecstasy. Originally, Nangong Fei had planned to wait until he advanced to the golden immortal realm before consuming this 10,000-year frost pearl. Now, it was a good thing for them. Chapter 2141. Ningyu is currently undergoing the baptism of the lightning tribulation and devouring the tribulation liquid. I have to quickly give this 10 millennia frost pearl to him. The red fiend did not intend to leave the 10,000-year frost pearl for himself to use. He was the sword spirit, and his cultivation level increased along with the level of the red demon sword. Even if he swallowed the 10 millennia frost pearl, he would not be able to improve his talent. Ningyu was different. Although Ningyu's talent was very high, it was still not enough when compared to the geniuses of some superpowers. If he could devour the 10 millennium frost pearl and double his talent, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage even when facing the geniuses of superpowers in the future. Whoosh! Let's do it. The red fiend's figure flashed and instantly arrived beside Ningyu. Right now, Ningyu was receiving the baptism of the tribulation lightning fluid with all his might. The arrival of the red fiend did not affect him. Bang! When Ningyu was baptized by the lightning tribulation water, his cultivation level was at the early golden immortal stage. After a period of devouring, Ningyu's cultivation had reached the peak of the early golden immortal stage. He was only a step away from the mid-stage golden immortal realm. Red Fiend was not stupid. Even if he wanted to give the 10,000-year frost pearl to Ningyu, he could not do it now. Because Ningyu was in the midst of breaking through to the mid-stage golden immortal stage. Under Ningyu's terrifying devouring power, the surrounding tribulation lightning liquid all entered his body. The tribulation lightning liquid was golden in color, and each drop contained extremely terrifying energy. Ka. As the heavenly tribulation fluid entered his body, cracking sounds rang out from within Ningyu's body. Bang! Bang! Suddenly, 3 muffled sounds rang out in succession. Wah! Ningyu suddenly opened his eyes as a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. Mid-stage golden immortal. At this moment, Ningyu's cultivation had advanced from the peak of early-stage golden immortal to mid-stage golden immortal. Who? After advancing to the intermediate golden immortal stage, Ningyu couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Before entering the boundless cave, his cultivation was only at the intermediate stage of the mysterious immortal realm, and there was even a distance between him and the advanced stage of the mysterious immortal realm. But after staying in the immeasurable cave for 3 days, not only did he advance to the golden immortal stage, he even reached the intermediate golden immortal stage. Advancing from the intermediate stage of the profound immortal stage to the intermediate stage of the golden immortal stage was a qualitative change. I can even put up a fight against a peak golden immortal martial artist. Feeling the energy in his body, Ningyu nodded in satisfaction. Coming to the immeasurable cave this time was really the right decision. Here. The Red Fiend handed the 10,000-year frost pearl to Ningyu. What is it? Ningyu asked doubtfully as he received the bead from the Red Devil. I found it on Nangong Fei. It's the 10 millennia frost pearl. It can unconditionally double a devourer's talent. The Red Fiend said casually. I can't believe it. Hearing this, Ningyu could not help but curse. Is there such a good thing? This is nothing. The Tai Divine sect has a lot of good stuff. The Red Devil shrugged and said. From Nangong Fei's memories, the Red Devil had a preliminary understanding of the power of the Tai Divine sect. In the Tai Divine sect, there was even something that could increase a martial artist's talent by 4 times. Of course, such a good thing could only be obtained by those with heaven-defying talent. Ordinary martial artists could not even dream of seeing it. Hurry up and devour it. Try to raise your cultivation to the advanced golden immortal stage as soon as possible. The Red Devil urged. After understanding the power of the Tai Divine sect, the Red Devil was not particularly optimistic about this trip to the Tai Divine sect. Golden immortal experts could only be core disciples in the Tai Divine sect. The sacred son of the Tai Divine sect was even an ancestral immortal. No problem. Ningyu did not waste any time. With a flick of his wrist, he directly threw the 10,000-year frost pearl into his mouth. Wah! The 10,000-year frost pearl melted in his mouth, and quickly went down his throat into his stomach. Buzz! The effect of the 10,000-year frost pearl was very obvious. Soon, Ningyu felt that his talent was steadily increasing. Although the rate of increase wasn't particularly fast, at this rate, it would take at most 2 hours for his innate talent to double. Drip, drip. Time passed minute by minute. 2 hours passed in the blink of an eye. Boom. Accompanied by a muffled sound, Ningyu could clearly feel that he had completed a complete transformation. Devour. Ningyu did not waste any time. The devouring power in his body circulated crazily and began to devour the lightning tribulation liquid. Since his talent had doubled, he had to continue cultivating and strive to break through to the advanced golden immortal stage as soon as possible. While Ningyu was breaking through to the advanced golden immortal stage, the Red Devil was not idle. Instead, he was familiarizing himself with some of Ningyu's small movements. After all, he was going to face Nangong Xiongba and Yuan Ran next. The Red Devil did not want to reveal any flaws. After his talent was doubled, Ning Yu's cultivation speed was not as simple as just doubling. It took him a few hours to advance from the early Golden Immortal stage to the intermediate Golden Immortal stage. However, it only took him an hour to advance from the intermediate Golden Immortal stage to the advanced Golden Immortal stage. Rumble! A terrifying aura suddenly emanated from Ning Yu's body. All right. Seeing that Ning Yu had successfully advanced to the advanced Golden Immortal stage, the Red Devil was delighted. With your current strength, you should be able to fight against a half-step ancestral immortal expert. Because there were no ancestral immortal laws, the Red Devil did not think that Ning Yu could fight against a true ancestral immortal expert. However, Ning Yu, whose talent had doubled and his cultivation had advanced to the advanced Golden Immortal stage, was not that simple. According to the Red Devil's estimation, Ning Yu could fight against a half-step ancestral immortal expert. Be careful. Ning Yu smiled faintly. He then moved and left the immeasurable cave according to the method that Nangong Ling had told him. As for the Red Devil, he swaggered out of the immeasurable cave. Creak! The bronze door of the immeasurable cave slowly opened. Fei-er! The moment the Red Devil left the immeasurable cave, a voice rang in his ears. He looked up. He saw a man and a woman standing side by side, their faces filled with joy. The woman had a flirtatious face and looked to be in her 30s or 40s. Her cultivation was at the intermediate Golden Immortal stage. The other was a middle-aged man. He had a reserved aura and was unusually calm. His cultivation, the Red Devil's heart trembled. According to his memories, the middle-aged man was the family head of the Nangong family, Nangong Xiongba. On the surface, the Nangong family claimed that Nangong Xiongba's cultivation was only at the peak Golden Immortal stage. However, from the looks of it, Nangong Xiongba's cultivation was not as simple as it seemed. Half-step ancestral immortal. That's right, Nangong Xiongba's cultivation was at the half-step ancestral immortal stage. I wonder if Ning Yu is a match for him. The Red Devil frowned slightly. He secretly compared Ning Yu's and Nangong Xiongba's combat strength. In the end, the Red Devil was shocked to find that Ning Yu did not have the confidence to win. What are you thinking about? Hurry and follow me. The Tai Divine Sect's envoy has been here for a long time. They are currently selecting disciples in the central square of the half-god city. As the Red Devil was thinking, Yuan Rant's anxious voice rang in his ears. You have advanced to the early Golden Immortal stage. In this Tai Divine Sect selection, you will definitely be able to become a core disciple. Chapter 2142. At the same time, Nangong Ling was waiting at the secret entrance of the immeasurable cave. He was moving left and right anxiously. The selection of the Tai Divine Sect had already begun. If Ning Yu didn't come out, he would probably miss the selection. It didn't matter if Ning Yu missed the selection, but if he continued to wait here, it was very likely that he would miss the selection too. Wait another 3 minutes. Nangong Ling gritted his teeth. He decided to wait another 3 minutes. If Ning Yu didn't come out in 3 minutes, he would go to the central square alone. He had waited for 3 whole years for this selection. Even if Ning Yu didn't go, he had to go. Swish. 3 minutes passed quickly. However, just as Nangong Ling was about to leave, an afterimage suddenly appeared in front of him. You're finally out. Come with me to participate in the selection of the Tai Divine Sect. Nangong Ling was overjoyed when he saw Ning Yu. He grabbed Ning Yu and dashed toward the central plaza without a care for the consequences. If he went there now, he should be in time. Pulling Ning Yu along, it took less than a minute for Nangong Ling and Ning Yu to appear in the central square. At this time, the central square was already full of people. Although most people weren't qualified to participate in the selection, it didn't stop them from coming over to take a look. What if the envoy of the Tai-E divine sect was blind and thought that they had potential? After all, in the previous Tai-E divine sect selections, there were people who were selected by the envoy and brought to the Tai-E divine sect. It was said that one of the successors of the Tai-E divine sect was selected in this way. Therefore, everyone wanted to try their luck. 5 regions. Ningyu looked around and found that the core of the entire square was roughly divided into 5 regions. Among them, the Nangong family, the Gun family, and the Tuoba family each occupied a large region. In addition, there were some people who occupied a small region. As for the last region, there were only 2 people. However, these 2 people's cultivation was very high. Early stage Golden Immortal, late stage Golden Immortal. It was a man and a woman. The woman was a late Golden Immortal, while the man was an early Golden Immortal. Those 2 are the core disciples of the Tai-E divine sect. As long as you can defeat one of them, you can make an exception to enter the Tai-E divine sect and become a core disciple. Seeing Ningyu looking at the 2 warriors, Nangong Ling said, "With your strength, you can challenge that early Golden Immortal core disciple." Nangong Ling had only spoken halfway when he abruptly stopped, because he noticed that Ningyu wasn't at the advanced stage of the mysterious immortal realm. He sensed a trace of a Golden Immortal's aura from Ningyu. "You've advanced to the Golden Immortal stage?" Nangong Ling's eyes widened in shock. While waiting outside the infinite cave, Nangong Ling discovered that the Golden Immortal tribulation was descending. However, at that time, Nangong Ling believed that the Golden Immortal tribulation was caused by Nangong Fei. After all, he knew that Nangong Fei was also cultivating in the immeasurable cave. But now that he sensed the aura emanating from Ningyu, Nangong Ling was a little confused. Could it be that Ningyu had advanced to the Golden Immortal stage and Nangong Fei had failed? Ningyu nodded and changed the topic. "Since you can make an exception to enter the Tai-E divine sect by defeating a core disciple, why did you bring 2 core disciples? Don't underestimate that woman." Nangong Ling had clearly investigated. He pointed to the female core disciple and explained, "Her name is Zhao Exin. Although her cultivation is only at the advanced stage Golden Immortal stage, her overall strength is comparable to a half-step ancestral immortal expert." The core disciples of the Tai-E divine sect are divided into 3 levels: heaven, earth, and human. The weakest are the human-level core disciples. For example, those who have just advanced to the Golden Immortal stage and those like us who were selected. The slightly stronger ones are the earth-level core disciples. Everyone here is at the mid-stage and late-stage Golden Immortal stage. As for the last level, the heaven-level core disciples, everyone there is a freak. They are not differentiated by their cultivation, but by their combat strength. Heaven-level core disciples are also known as half-step saint. The weakest among them is comparable to a half-step ancestral immortal. Zhao Exin is a heaven-level core disciple. I'm not too sure why she's here for now. After listening to Nangong Ling's explanation, Ningyu had a rough understanding of the Tai-E divine sect. In short, the Tai-E divine sect was strong. Ridiculously strong. Before arriving here, Ningyu felt that the strongest in the Tai-E divine sect would be the ancestral immortals. But now, he felt that the strongest in the Tai-E divine sect was most likely the virtual immortals. Above the ancestral immortals were the virtual immortals. Any virtual immortal was an extremely terrifying existence. Ningyu shifted his gaze and couldn't help but take another look at Zhao Exin. For some reason, he felt that Zhao Exin looked a little familiar. While Ningyu was looking at Zhao Exin was looking at him too. Frowning slightly, Zhao Exin thought to herself, "Why does he look so much like Ningyu?" Taking out a crystal ball from her pocket, Zhao Exin compared it again and again. The more she looked, the more she felt that it was similar. Could he be the Ningyu that sister mentioned? Zhao Xian's expression became a little complicated. Originally, her sister, Zhao Rui, should have come for the selection. However, the selection of the saints was in 3 months. For the selection of the saints, Zhao Rui had no choice but to choose to go into seclusion and strive for the position of the saints that she had failed to achieve in her previous life. Actually, Zhao Rui was not the reincarnation of the top 3 on the genius roll. She was the reincarnation of a heaven-level core disciple of the Tai Yi Divine sect. In her previous life, Zhao Rui had been framed in the process of becoming a saint and had no choice but to start anew. In this life, she had a very high chance of becoming a saint after cultivating again. In the entire Tai Yi Divine sect, there were only 2 people who knew this secret. One was Zhao Rui herself, and the other was Zhao Xian. As for the others, some thought that Zhao Rui was the reincarnation of the top 3 experts on the genius roll, while others thought that she was the reincarnation of an elder. The Dark Emperor and Ning Lu have both reached the Golden Immortal level and successfully entered the ranks of the human-level core disciples. If he really is Ningyu, I have a way to get him into the Tai Yi Divine sect. Zhao Xian secretly made up her mind. Although she felt a trace of the aura of a Golden Immortal from Ningyu, Zhao Xian did not think that Ningyu had advanced to the Golden Immortal level. There was no other reason. The Dark Emperor and Ning Lu had enjoyed a lot of resources in the Tai Yi Divine sect, which was why they had advanced from the Heaven Immortal level to the Golden Immortal level. How could Ning Yu advance from the Heaven Immortal level to the Golden Immortal level by himself without resources? Is there anyone who wants to become a core disciple? At this moment, Sun Lianyu, the envoy of the Tai Yi Divine sect, stood up and said loudly, "As long as you can defeat Sun Chang, you can enter the Tai Yi Divine sect and become a human-level core disciple." The requirements of the Tai Yi Divine sect for human-level core disciples were relatively loose. When selecting other disciples, they had to be at the late-stage Xian immortal level and younger than 1,000 years old. But as for the human-level core disciples, as long as one could defeat a human-level core disciple, they could become a core disciple of the Tai Yi Divine sect. The reason. Chapter 2143. Allow me. As soon as Sun Lianyu's voice fell, a young cultivator in black stepped forward and said, "Swoosh." Everyone followed the voice and saw that the cultivator came from the Tuoba clan's district. Tuoba Chen. The cultivator was called Tuoba Chen, the 3rd genius of the Tuoba clan. The Tuoba clan was proud of their success in the Tai Yi Divine sect selection. There were 10 geniuses from the clan who participated in the selection, and 7 of them successfully entered the Tai Yi Divine sect and became inner disciples. As for the remaining 3, they were preparing to become human-grade core disciples, so they didn't participate in the selection. All right. Sun Lianyu glanced at Tuoba Chen and said, "Sun Chang, step forward." Swoosh. Hearing this, Sun Chang leaped up and landed on the circular platform in the middle of the square. The circular platform was about 10 meters in diameter and was specially prepared for the special selection. "I am Tuoba Chen." Tuoba Chen cupped his fists and said to Sun Chang, "Please advise me, senior brother. You're not from the Tai Yi Divine sect yet. You can call me senior brother after you defeat me." Sun Chang said, "Since you're only a half-step Golden Immortal, I will only use half of my strength." After all, Sun Chang was a human-grade core disciple with an early-stage Golden Immortal cultivation. If he used his full strength, most early-stage Golden Immortal cultivators wouldn't be his match. Only using half of his strength was already being merciful. "Take this." Tuoba Chen was enraged that Sun Chang looked down on him. His figure flashed and he charged at Sun Chang. Bang! However, Sun Chang shook his head at Tuoba Chen's attack and said, "You know nothing about power." Then, Sun Chang clenched his right fist and punched. A crisp sound was heard. Then, Tuoba Chen's body fell off the platform like a kite with a broken string. Tuoba Chun has lost the right to enter the Tai-E Divine Sect. Sun Lianyu said, if you want to enter the Tai-E Divine Sect again, you can wait for the selection in 3 years. Tuoba Chen's defeat made the Tuoba clan members' faces turn ugly. One should know that Sun Chang had only used half of his strength. Voila! Since Tuoba Chun had been defeated, many of the Tuoba family's warriors turned their attention to Tuoba Lai. As the second genius of Tuoba family, Tuoba Lai was also a half-step gold immortal. However, Tuoba Lai was much stronger than Tuoba Chen. Tuoba Chen's strength was not even at half-nascent power. Tuoba Lai, on the other hand, had long since reached half-nascent power, and was even stronger than that. I'll try. Tuoba Lai's face was expressionless as he leaped onto the high platform. A half-step gold immortal with the same level of power. Sun Chang sized up Tuoba Lai and said, if you defeat me, you'll enter the Tai-E Divine Sect and become a human-grade core disciple. If you lose, you'll have to try again. Xiao. Tuoba Lai was not like Tuoba Chen. Before Sun Chang finished speaking, he leaped into the air and punched out with a violent Yuan Qi gale. Tuoba Lai's thoughts were very simple. As long as they were on the round platform, it was equivalent to entering a state of battle. Whether Sun Chang was a member of the Tai Divine Sect or not, he knew that mercy to the enemy was cruelty to himself. Interesting. Looking at Tuoba Lai, who was charging towards him, Sun Chang's lips curled up and he said indifferently, but you won't be able to win just based on this. Crack. Sun Chang was right. Tuoba Lai's attack seemed strong, but it was actually just a pillow with embroidery. He punched with 50% of his power, and it was just enough to defeat Tuoba Lai. This, Tuoba Lai's defeat made Nangong Ling's face extremely ugly. His strength was almost on par with Tuoba Lai's. Now that even Tuoba Lai was defeated, didn't that mean that he wouldn't be able to win? Don't worry. Although you can't defeat Sun Chang with his full strength, it won't be a problem to deal with him with 50% power. Ningyu patted Nangong Ling's shoulder and comforted him. Through Sun Chang's attack, Ningyu could see that he had many flaws. In a fight between experts, even the slightest flaw could become a breakthrough point. Against someone like Sun Chang, as long as one could find his flaws, one could easily defeat him. How is that possible? Nangong Ling said disappointedly, I'm almost on par with Tuoba Lai. If Tuoba Lai can't defeat Sun Chang, I definitely can't either. I said you can defeat him, so you can defeat him. Ningyu rolled his eyes and whispered in Nangong Ling's ear. Boom. Hearing Ningyu's words, Nangong Ling hurriedly shifted his gaze to the round stage. At this moment, the one fighting with Sun Chang on the round stage was the #1 genius of the Tuoba family, Tuoba Yuan. Tuoba Yuan's cultivation was at the early stage golden immortal realm. He pressed forward step by step, forcing Sun Chang to use his full strength. Looking at Sun Chang's predicament, coupled with what Ningyu said to him, Nangong Ling's eyes widened and his face was filled with disbelief. That's right, too many. What Ningyu said to him earlier was Sun Chang's flaws. After his observation, Ningyu's flaws were all correct. In an instant, his confidence soared. After finding Sun Chang's flaws, he had a high chance of defeating Sun Chang. Boom. Not long after, the outcome of the intense battle on the round stage was decided. Tuoba Yuan was one move ahead and defeated Sun Chang. Tuoba Yuan successfully entered the Tai-E Divine Sect and became a human-class core disciple. Sun Lianyu said loudly, let's continue. Ningyu did not want to watch too much of what was happening below. His attention was always on Zhao Xian. Just now, Ningyu was not very sure, but now, he was sure that Zhao Xian and Zhao Rui were related. Forget it, I'll wait until I enter the Tai-E Divine Sect. Shaking his head slowly, Ningyu chose to close his eyes and rest. As long as he entered the Tai-E Divine Sect, everything would come to light. Following the Tuoba family was the Gong family. A total of 2 warriors from the Gong family entered the Tai-E Divine Sect and became human class core disciples. Gong Yang Dong, Gong Yang He. Among them, Gong Yang Dong was a half-step golden immortal, while Gong Yang He was an early-stage golden immortal. A total of 3 people from the Nangong family entered the Tai-E Divine Sect. Nangong Fei, Nangong Chao, Nangong Yu. It's my turn. Seeing that the battle was about to end, Nangong Ling finally mustered his courage and flew to the round stage. Ling Seeing Nangong Ling fly to the round stage, Nangong Xiongba instantly stood up and said in surprise, "What are you doing? Hurry up and get down." Nangong Ling did not care about Nangong Xiongba's scolding. He turned to look at Sun Chang and said lightly, "Nangong Ling, please advise me. You're not bad." Sun Chang looked at Nangong Ling and said, "You've been watching from below for so long, but you didn't launch a sneak attack." Chapter 2144. Boom. Nangong Ling and Sun Chang instantly clashed. Because Nangong Ling knew of Sun Chang's flaws, Nangong Ling clearly had the upper hand in this exchange. The exchange between Nangong Ling and Sun Chang caused Zhao Xian's expression to change slightly. According to her thoughts, Nangong Ling was definitely not a match for Sun Chang, even if Sun Chang only used 50% of his strength. But the current situation caused her to be greatly shocked. Not only was Sun Chang at a disadvantage, if this situation continued, it wouldn't be long before he would be defeated. Could it be Ningyu? Zhao Xian frowned. She had clearly seen that Ningyu had whispered a few words into Nangong Ling's ear. Originally, Nangong Ling was extremely flustered, but Ningyu's whispers completely calmed him down. Why is this little bastard so powerful? In the area where the Nangong family was located, Yuan Rant's face became extremely cold as he said fiercely, "Nangong Xiongba, did you secretly give him resources?" Impudent. Yuan Ran insulted Nangong Ling in front of so many people in the family, causing Nangong Xiongba's face to instantly turn ugly. No matter what, Nangong Ling was still his son. It was fine if he said it behind his back, but to say it in front of so many people, where would he put his face? Ling is also a member of the Nangong family. If he can smoothly enter the Tai-E Divine Sect, it will be of great benefit to our Nangong family. Nangong Xiongba said in a deep voice. The Tai-E Divine Sect was very generous. For every core disciple that entered the Tai-E Divine Sect, there were many rewards. Furthermore, not only were the core disciples that entered the Tai-E Divine Sect rewarded, even the families of these people would receive a large amount of resources. Fei after entering the Tai-E Divine Sect, think of a way to kill that little bastard. Yuan Rant's face was gloomy, but in the end she did not flare up. However, she sent a sound transmission to Nangong Fei. "I don't want him to see the sun tomorrow." "No problem." Nangong Fei, also known as the Red Devil, nodded and said, "I promise I won't let him see the sun tomorrow." It had to be said that the Red Devil's acting skills were very high. In the entire Nangong family, no one, including Yuan Ran and Nangong Xiongba, realized that he was a fake. Moreover, after he successfully defeated Sun Chang, his uncles gave him a huge amount of gold crystals as if they were trying to curry favor with him. Based on preliminary estimates, there were at least 1,000,000 gold crystals on the Red Devil. Bang! At this moment, the outcome of the battle on the circular platform had already been decided. Nangong Ling had won with an overwhelming advantage. You win. Sun Chang's expression was a little ugly. His defeat in this battle was a little unsightly. It could even be said that he had been defeated in a very aggrieved manner. Before he could figure out what was going on, he was already defeated. Nangong Ling has successfully entered the Tai-E Divine Sect and become a human-ranked core disciple. Sun Lianyu said in a clear voice, "Is there anyone else who wants to come up?" Whoosh! Ningyu looked to his left and right. When he realized that no one was responding, He jumped onto the round platform in a flash. Your cultivation? Sun Chang frowned when he sensed the aura emanating from Ningyu. Early golden immortal? Ningyu only emitted the aura of a golden immortal. As for whether his cultivation was at the early golden immortal or middle golden immortal, Sun Chang was not particularly sure. Just treat me as an early golden immortal, Ningyu said. All right then, watch out. Sun Chang clenched his right hand into a fist and punched out. The exchange with Nangong Ling just now had made Sun Chang feel extremely aggrieved. Now that he could finally go all out, Sun Chang naturally would not hold back. Bang! However, what Sun Chang had expected did not happen. Before he could even get close to Ningyu, he saw an afterimage attacking him. Following that, he flew straight out of the round platform. Swish! The sudden change caused all the warriors in the plaza to open their mouths slightly, their faces filled with shock. What was going on? Sun Chang lost? And he lost so thoroughly? Wasn't this too exaggerated? I've lost. Sun Chang stomped on the ground and jumped onto the round platform. He respectfully cupped his fists at Ningyu and said, Congratulations on becoming a human-level core disciple of the Tai Heavenly Sect. Sun Chang knew this better than anyone else. Ningyu's control over his power had reached a frightening level. That move just now, though he was thrown off the platform, he was unharmed. In other words, Ningyu did not intend to hurt him. He merely threw him off the platform to prevent him from attacking again. After all, there was a rule that anyone who was thrown off the platform would lose. It's you. However, just as Sun Chang's words trailed off, an expert from the Tuoba clan stood up. You killed Tuoba Feng. This expert stared coldly at Ningyu and snarled, I was wondering why I couldn't find you. So you were hiding here? Before Ningyu could answer, Sun Chang took a step forward and stood in front of Ningyu. He snorted coldly and said, He is a core disciple of the Tai Divine Sect. Anyone who dares to attack him is an enemy of the Tai Divine Sect. It was obvious that Sun Chang had seen through Ningyu's potential and wanted to befriend Ningyu. After all, the competition among the core disciples of the Tai Heavenly Sect was fierce. Though he and Sun Lianyu shared the same surname, they were not related. We do not wish to be enemies with the Tai Heavenly Sect. We just want to settle a score with this person. Tuoba clan's ancestor, Tuoba Xing, slowly stood up and said, He killed Tuoba Feng of the Tuoba clan. A person like him should not be chosen to enter the Tai Heavenly Sect. Hearing Tuoba Xing's words, Sun Chang frowned slightly in surprise. Logically speaking, no matter how strong Tuoba Xing was, he would not dare to go against the Tai Heavenly Sect. If he dared, at the thought of this, Sun Chang hurriedly shifted his gaze to Sun Lianyu. This glance caused Sun Chang's expression to turn completely gloomy. Sun Lianyu's expression was as if she was smiling yet not, making it clear that she did not want to interfere. This is bad. Sun Lianyu must have been bribed by Tuoba Xing. Sun Chang's heart skipped a beat and he hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Ningyu. I saw that you were standing together with Nangong Ling of the Nangong family. Why don't you beg him to let the Nangong family help you? Sun Lianyu was the main instigator of this selection. Sun Chang wanted to protect Ningyu, but he did not have the strength to do so. I'll give the Tuoba clan a chance. Sun Lianyu patted her lapel and said, You can send a martial artist and this. At this point, Sun Lianyu paused for a moment and looked at Ningyu asking, What's your name? Swoosh. Sun Lianyu's question made Zhao Xin instantly shift her gaze to Ningyu. She wanted to see if this person was really Ningyu. Under everyone's gaze, Ningyu said calmly, Ningyu. Very good. As a core disciple of the Tai Heavenly Sect, you must be daring enough to take responsibility for your actions. Sun Lianyu nodded and said, Since you killed Tuoba Feng of the Tuoba clan, you must bear their wrath. Chapter 2145. Swoosh. Sun Lianyu's words made Ningyu the focus of the entire plaza. Defeat the cultivators sent by the Tuoba clan? To think that Sun Lianyu could say that. After all, the Tuoba clan had late-stage golden immortals and even peak golden immortals. Although Ningyu defeated Sun Chang, he did not stand much chance against mid-stage or late-stage golden immortals. It was obvious that Sun Lianyu was on the same side as the Tuoba clan and might be bribed by the Tuoba clan. No problem. Ningyu had the same expression as he glanced at the Tuoba clan's area and said indifferently. To Ningyu, he would deal with soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. Even if the Tuoba clan sent their clan leader, he would not be afraid. All right. Sun Lianyu nodded solemnly, then turned to Tuoba Xing and asked, "Who will your Tuoba clan send?" "Me, let me go. I'm going to tear him apart. He must be punished for killing a member of the Tuoba clan." All the cultivators of the Tuoba clan revealed expressions of righteous indignation. Under such circumstances, Tuoba Xing raised his hands and pressed them down slowly. "I'll do it." Under everyone's gaze, Tuoba Xing said indifferently, "As the clan leader of the Tuoba clan, I have the responsibility and obligation to protect the Tuoba clan." Swoosh. Tuoba Xing's words instantly caused an uproar in the plaza. As a clan leader, he actually attacked an early-stage golden immortal cultivator. Where would he put his face if news of this spread? Although everyone had such thoughts, they did not dare to say it out loud. Of course, not everyone dared not make an enemy out of the Tuoba clan. Among them, the clan leader of the Ram clan, Gongyang Huayun, harumphed coldly. "Humph! Aren't you ashamed? What a disgrace to our half-god city." As though he did not hear Gongyang Huayun, Tuoba Xing leaped onto the round platform. In half-god city, the Tuoba clan was ranked third while the Ram clan was ranked second. It was unwise to make an enemy out of the Ram clan. However, Tuoba Xing's silence did not mean that Sun Lianyu would not speak. Since she had received benefits from Tuoba Xing, Sun Lianyu naturally had to support the Tuoba family. His expression was cold as he scolded, "This fight is voluntary by both sides. If anyone dares to spread rumors, don't blame me for being impolite." Boom. As soon as she finished speaking, Sun Lianyu unleashed her aura. Half-step ancestral immortal. Without question, Sun Lianyu's cultivation base had reached the half-step ancestral immortal stage. Ka. In the end, he still chose to loosen his fist. There was nothing wrong with becoming enemies with Tuoba Xing. However, if he became enemies with Sun Lianyu, the impact would be huge. Sun Lianyu was the emissary of the Tai E Divine sect, and behind her was the entire Tai E Divine sect. The geniuses of the Ram clan still had to enter the Tai E Divine sect. If they were to be schemed against by Sun Lianyu in the Tai E Divine sect, wouldn't the losses outweigh the gains? Therefore, Gongyang Huayun obediently shut his mouth and didn't dare to say anything else. "You have guts." Tuoba Xing's lips curled. "If I'm not wrong, when you killed Tuoba Feng, your cultivation base was only at the mid-stage mystic immortal stage. To be able to kill the early-stage golden immortal stage Tuoba Feng at the mid-stage mystic immortal stage, it means that you must have some sort of trump card or some sort of powerful Dharma treasure. Hand over the Dharma treasure and I can spare your life." Tuoba Xing was confident. After all, his cultivation base was the same as Sun Lianyu's, at the half-step ancestral immortal stage. Even if Ningyu had advanced to the golden immortal stage, killing Ningyu would be as easy as squashing an ant. If you want to fight, then fight. Why so much nonsense? Ningyu's expression changed. Then, he stomped on the ground and dashed out. Attack first. Against a martial artist like Tuoba Xing, there was no benefit in talking to him. He had to seize the opportunity when he was careless to launch a sudden attack. That way, he would be able to achieve unexpected result. As expected, Tuoba Xing still had that sloppy look when he saw Ningyu charging towards him. He did not think that Ningyu was a match for him. He had only used 50% of his strength in the first move. He clenched his right fist and clashed against Ningyu's fist. Bang! The two fists collided. A crisp sound rang out. Then, Tuoba Xing's expression changed as he retreated hurriedly. In the blink of an eye, Tuoba Xing had retreated from the circular stage. Swish! Instantly, the entire square fell silent. What did they just see? One move. Just one move. Ningyu had blasted Tuoba Xing off the arena. Everyone knew what being blasted off the arena meant. It meant that Tuoba Xing had lost. Even if he had been careless, he had still lost. This is infuriating. Tuoba Xing's expression was extremely grim. He had failed miserably at an easy task. He, a mighty half-step ancestral immortal, had been defeated by a golden immortal. If word of this got out, it would be even more embarrassing than him attacking Ningyu. No one in the world can save you. Tuoba Xing's figure flashed as he once again flew onto the arena. Tuoba Xing, you've already lost. Why are you still charging up shamelessly? At this moment, Gongyang Huayun finally could not take it anymore and said fiercely, You may be shameless, but our Gongyang clan and Nangong clan do. Gongyang Huayun was very smart. He could not compete with Sun Lianyu, so he dragged in the Nangong clan. The Nangong clan naturally had their backing to become the top clan in Half-God City. In the past, none of the Tai-E Divine Sect's envoys dared to provoke the Nangong clan. Gongyang Huayun. Unexpectedly, Nangong Xiongba's expression turned cold as he berated. The grudge between you and the Tuoba clan has nothing to do with our Nangong clan. Obviously, Nangong Xiongba did not want to get involved in this matter. I appreciate the Gongyang clan's kindness. Ningyu turned to look at Gongyang Huayun and said, I will take care of the Gongyang clan. It's worth it. Hearing Ningyu's words, Gongyang Huayun's heart moved. The reason why he risked offending Sun Lianyu and becoming enemies with Tuoba Xing was very simple. He wanted to build a relationship with Ningyu. Gongyang Huayun was not a fool. He clearly saw the move that Ningyu used to defeat Tuoba Xing. Although Tuoba Xing did not use his full strength, he used 50% of his strength. A move with 50% of his strength was not able to stop Ningyu. It was enough to show how strong Ningyu was. In other words, in the future, Ningyu's achievements in the Tai-E Divine Sect would definitely be higher than Sun Lianyu's. Whether the Gongyang clan can dominate Half-God City depends on Ningyu's performance. Gongyang Huayun did not speak anymore. However, his attention was always on Ningyu. Continue fighting. Sun Lianyu glanced at Gongyang Huayun and frowned, then said coldly, Unless one of you dies, you have to keep fighting for me. Ha ha ha, that's exactly what I wanted. Tuoba Xing raised his head and laughed wildly, then rushed out with a roar. In order to bribe Sun Lianyu, Tuoba Xing could be said to have bled a lot. The entire Tuoba clan's gold crystals, as well as the few remaining ancestral crystals, were all taken out by him. The effort would be rewarded. After paying such a huge price, he finally made Sun Lianyu completely stand on his side. Chapter 2146. Boom. In an instant, Ningyu and Tuoba Xing started fighting. Since Tuoba Xing was going all out, he had the upper hand this time. Bastard, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the Dharma treasure and I'll spare your life. Tuoba Xing said fiercely as he attacked with all his might. Otherwise, I'll show you why flowers are red. You talk too much. Ningyu took out the essence creating divine staff. After a few minutes of fighting, Ningyu had a rough idea of Tuoba Xing's strength. Tuoba Xing had just become a half-step ancestral immortal and had yet to fully grasp the combat power of a half-step ancestral immortal. If he was a veteran half-step ancestral immortal, Ningyu wouldn't have much confidence in defeating him. However, Ningyu didn't feel any pressure when facing a half-step ancestral immortal like Tuoba Shing. Rumble. After taking out the essence-creating divine staff, Ningyu instantly suppressed Tuoba Shing. How is that possible? Tuoba Shing's face was filled with disbelief. He knew very well that the essence-creating divine staff that Ningyu took out was only a peak-stage dark treasure. It wasn't even a gold treasure. Logically speaking, he should have been able to break a Dharma treasure of this level with one punch. However, no matter how he attacked, the essence-creating divine staff remained standing. Buzz. Buzz. Nobody knew what was going on. The void trembled, and the expression of the cultivator hidden inside turned grave. Origin creating immortal. If Ningyu saw this martial artist, he would have noticed that this martial artist was exactly the same as the one he saw in the Origin Divine Palace. His strength has improved so quickly. Origin creating immortal stared at Ningyu and said in surprise, "Looks like it was a wise choice to give you the essence creating divine staff. Fine. Since you want to go to the Tai Divine Sect, I'll go and help you." After thinking for a while, Origin creating immortal's body became illusory and disappeared. Crack, crack, crack. As soon as Origin creating immortal disappeared, the battle on the stage was over. While Tuoba Shing was unprepared, Ningyu waved the Origin creation divine staff in his hand and smashed it hard on his chest. Several cracking sounds could be heard. Tuoba Shing fell onto the stage like a dead dog, with several of his ribs broken. It was to the extent that Tuoba Shing's aura had plummeted. At this moment, even a heavenly immortal could kill Tuoba Shing. Voila! The sudden change caused an uproar among the cultivators in the plaza. No one expected that Tuoba Shing would be the one to lose in the end. Moreover, Tuoba Shing's defeat was so strange and exaggerated. What happened? How could Tuoba Shing fail? You're asking me? Who the hell am I supposed to ask? I saw Ningyu smash Tuoba Shing's chest with his staff, and then Tuoba Shing was defeated. This doesn't make sense. Tuoba Shing is a half-step ancestor immortal. Even if he was struck by a golden treasure, there's no way he could have lost. That's right. The highest grade of the magical treasure in Ningyu's hand is a mysterious treasure. It's definitely not a gold treasure. Everyone discussed among themselves. It was clear that everyone found Tuoba Shing's defeat very strange and unbelievable. Swish. On the other side, Sun Lianyu stood up with a dark expression. Tuoba Shing's defeat was something he hadn't expected. He had wanted to support Tuoba Shing and have him control half God City so that he could provide him with an endless supply of crystals. Great. Both of them were overjoyed that Ningyu had won. Both of them were overjoyed that Ningyu had won. He's got some skills. Zhao Xian finally started to take Ningyu seriously. At the beginning, even though Ningyu had defeated Sun Chang, she did not think that Ningyu was that strong. After all, Sun Chang was too weak. But now, Ningyu had defeated Tuoba Shing. She had to look at him in a different light. Tuoba Shing was a half-step ancestor immortal. Even she might not be able to defeat him. When did the power of the essence creating divine rod become so strong? As the person involved, Ningyu was a little confused. He knew that the essence creating divine rod was strong, but he did not expect it to be this strong. A peak-tier mystic treasure had defeated a half-step ancestor immortal. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed it. Could it be immortal creation? Ningyu frowned. In that instant, he vaguely felt a terrifying energy shooting out from the essence creating divine rod and entering Tuoba Shing's body. There was only one explanation for this. Immortal creation's backup plan. Ningyu had a grim expression. That was because he still did not know if immortal creation was a friend or foe. Tuoba Shing let out a hysterical scream after sensing the situation in his body. His broken ribs were not the reason for Tuoba Shing's scream. The reason why Tuoba Shring let out such a scream was because he realized that his organs were all broken. Furthermore, even his consciousness was destroyed. Most importantly, the destruction of his sea of consciousness meant that he would never be able to cultivate again. For a half-step ancestor immortal, there was nothing more painful than being unable to cultivate. You've lost. Ningyu looked at Tuoba Shing with a calm expression and said indifferently, according to the rules, the loser will be killed. No, you can't kill me. Tuoba Shing yelled like a madman. I'm the patriarch of the Tuoba clan. If you kill me, you'll be hunted down by the entire Tuoba clan. Are you threatening me? Ningyu waved the essence creating divine rod in his hand. I have a unique trait. If anyone tries to threaten me, I'll show them how strong I am. I'm not threatening you, I'm just stating a fact. Tuoba Shing had a strong desire to live. He said in a deep voice, You're a core disciple of the Tai Divine sect. There's a clear rule that we can't kill the patriarchs of the 3 major clans of Half-God City for no reason. He's right, the Tai Divine sect does have such a rule. Sun Lianyu said coldly. Then, may I ask if there's a rule that the patriarchs of the 3 major clans of Half-God City can't attack core disciples? Ningyu looked at Sun Lianyu and asked. This. Sun Lianyu was speechless. Strictly speaking, the Tai Divine sect did have such a rule. However, he was biased towards Tuoba Shing because he had received benefits from him. Remember this in your next life. There are some people you can't afford to offend. Ningyu smashed down with the essence creating divine rod in his hand. Crack! Under Tuoba Shing's horrified gaze, the essence creating divine rod landed on his head. There was a crack. Instantly, Tuoba Shing's head exploded and blood splattered everywhere. At that moment, the patriarch of the Tuoba clan of the 3 major clans of Half-God City, Tuoba Shing, died on the spot. You! Sun Lianyu's expression darkened when he saw Ningyu kill Tuoba Shing. It was clear that Sun Lianyu was extremely furious. Tuoba Shing had only given him half of the benefits that he had promised. Now that Ningyu had killed Tuoba Shing, didn't that mean that he couldn't get the other half of the benefits? According to the rules, those who kill the patriarchs of the 3 major clans of Half-God City for no reason will be expelled from the Tai Divine sect. Chapter 2147. Swoosh. Ningyu's face instantly darkened. He had gone through so much trouble to come to Half-God City and participate in the selection of Tai Divine sect. His goal was to enter Tai Divine sect and find the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu. Now, Sun Lianyu had stripped him of his right to enter Tai Divine sect. How could he not be angry? Although he was angry, Ningyu did not show it too much. He looked at Sun Lianyu and said calmly, I've killed him. As for whether I can enter Tai Divine sect, I hope you can reconsider. There's no need to reconsider. You've already been stripped, Sun Lianyu said coldly. However, before Sun Lianyu could finish his words, he stopped abruptly. Because he saw Ningyu holding the origin creating divine staff and walking towards him step by step. Ningyu's action made Sun Lianyu shudder. Strictly speaking, his strength was similar to Tuoba Shing's. Since Ningyu could kill even Tuoba Shing, it was obvious that Ningyu could kill him as well. I'm from Tai Divine sect. Stop right there. Sun Lianyu forced himself to calm down and scolded, If you dare take another step forward, I'll report to Tai Divine sect and issue a kill order for you. Russell. Ningyu seemed to not have heard Sun Lianyu. He moved and swung the origin creating divine staff as he walked. Damn it! Sun Lianyu cursed. Ningyu's step by step forced him to be highly focused. This was Half-God City, not Tai Divine sect. Even if he was killed, no one would avenge him. All of a sudden, Sun Lianyu's heart skipped a beat and he hurriedly shifted his gaze to Zhao Xian. Zhao Xian was a heaven-class core disciple. Although he was only a late-stage golden immortal, His combat power was at the half-step ancestral immortal level. He believed that if he and Zhao Xian joined forces, they would definitely be able to defeat Ningyu. Back then, when Zhao Xian wanted to come, he tried to stop him. But looking at it now, he was very glad that he had brought Zhao Xian along. Otherwise, how could he fight against Ningyu on his own? He's just the patriarch of a family in the half-god city. So what if he's killed? It's no big deal. Zhao Xian's reaction was out of Sun Lianyu's expectations. He had thought that Zhao Xian would be on the same side as him. Who would have thought that Zhao Xian and Ningyu would be on the same side? It seemed. Zhao Xian knows Ningyu? Thump. Thinking of this, Sun Lianyu's heart thumped. He wasn't too afraid of Zhao Xian. What he was afraid of was Zhao Xian's older sister, Zhao Rui, who was trying to become a saint. Once Zhao Rui succeeded in becoming a chosen, Zhao Xian's status in the Tai Divine sect would also rise. What's your decision? Ningyu stopped, looked at Sun Lianyu, and said lightly, "Can I go to the Tai Divine sect?" "No problem." Sun Lianyu's eyes flickered. She looked at the Tuoba clan, then at Zhao Xian, and finally nodded firmly. This confrontation ended in his defeat. "Everyone who has been selected, follow me." Sun Lianyu flicked her wrist and threw out a huge magical warship. Swoosh, swoosh. Then, many geniuses who had passed the selection jumped onto the warship. After everyone had boarded the warship, Sun Lianyu controlled the warship to tear the void and flew towards the Tai Divine sect. Swoosh. After Sun Lianyu and the others left, the huge square instantly became noisy. Meticulous martial artists had decided to cut ties with the Tuoba clan and rely on the Ram clan or the Nangong clan. After all, the Tuoba clan's clan leader had died in battle. From now on, the Tuoba clan would gradually decline. In the long run, the Nangong clan and the Ram clan would definitely join forces to drive the Tuoba clan out of the half-god city. Crack! Ningyu didn't know what had happened in the half-god city. At this moment, he had already arrived at the mountain gate of the Tai Divine sect on the warship. Sun Lianyu, the half-god city is really getting worse every year. Why isn't there even a middle golden immortal martial artist this time? As soon as Ningyu and the others arrived at the mountain gate of the Tai Divine sect, a gloomy voice was heard. Then, another warship slowly appeared in everyone's sight. Ningyu looked over. On the other warship, there were dozens of genius martial artists. Among them, there were 3 martial artists that made Ningyu look at them in a different light. One was about 15 years old and had a middle golden immortal cultivation. Another was about 25 years old and had a late golden immortal cultivation. As for the last one, he was a burly man who had a peak golden immortal cultivation. Each of the 3 martial artists was stronger than the previous one. "Zhou Shun, aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue?" Sun Lianyu said coldly. "This time I've chosen a peerless genius. It's no exaggeration to say that he alone can wipe out everyone on your warship." "How dare you? Arrogant! Who dares to say such a thing? You're courting death." Sun Lianyu's words caused the martial artists on the other warship to become furious. They were all top geniuses in their respective clans. Now that they were being ridiculed, how could they tolerate it? "I'm sorry, I'm not targeting anyone. I'm saying that all of you geniuses are trash before him." Sun Lianyu's lips curled up as he pointed at Ningyu and said proudly, "Not only can Ningyu suppress all of you so-called geniuses, he can even defeat your envoy, Zhou Shun, with ease." Boom. If Sun Lianyu's previous words were arrogant, then his words were arrogant to the extreme. It was fine if he could wipe out all the geniuses. After all, geniuses could only be called geniuses before they grew up. But Sun Lianyu said that Ningyu could fight against Zhou Shun and even defeat him. It was a little like sowing discord. One should know that Zhou Shun's cultivation was the same as his, a half-step ancestral immortal. Moreover, Zhou Shun was a heaven-class core disciple of the Tai divine sect. Who's Ningyu? Do you dare to fight with me? At this moment, a 15-year-old middle-stage golden immortal took a step forward and said coldly, I, Wu He, would like to see what gives you the right to be so arrogant. Let me do it. The 25-year-old martial artist said in a deep voice, I, Sun Yong, always like to teach those who think they're infallible a lesson. Let me do it. The burly man shook his head gently and jumped off the warship. He walked slowly towards Ningyu's warship. After a while, the burly man stopped in his tracks and said indifferently, I alone am enough to deal with you trash. Ah, good. No wonder you're the #1 genius of our Ling Divine City. You're bold. That's right. Little brats from half Divine City, don't cry when you get beaten up later. Hee, that's hard to say. In the past, half Divine City has always been defeated by our Ling Divine City. Only a person called Nangong Yu was decent. I'm afraid they'll be swept away by Xiong Hu this time. Although Xiong Hu is only a peak golden immortal, the strength of his body has already reached the half-step ancestral immortal realm. Chapter 2148. Swoosh. In an instant, all the geniuses of Half-God City shifted their attention to Ningyu. They weren't idiots. On the contrary, they were all shrewd. They could sense an extremely terrifying aura from Xiong Hu. Peak golden immortal. Judging from the cultivation that Xiong Hu had displayed, Ningyu was probably the only one in the Half-God City who could fight him. After all, Ningyu had killed Tuoba Xing, who was a half-step ancestral immortal. Wouldn't it be a piece of cake for him to deal with Xiong Hu, who was only a peak golden immortal? You're Ningyu. Xiong Hu raised his brows and said coldly, I'll let you have 3 moves first. Ningyu looked up at Xiong Hu and shook his head. You're no match for me. Ah. Xiong Hu threw his head back and laughed wildly. After laughing, Xiong Hu changed the topic and said fiercely, Trash, just say it if you don't dare to attack. Why did you say I'm no match for you? In the future. However, before Xiong Hu could finish his sentence, his body was sent flying like an afterimage. Xiong Hu spat out a mouthful of blood and his aura instantly dropped to a freezing point. While wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Xiong Hu pointed at Ningyu with his right hand. You sneak attacked me? Idiot. Ningyu said calmly. He didn't want to attack, but this Xiong Hu was too much of a bully. To deal with such a person, one had to beat him until he was convinced. Otherwise, he would provoke you again and again. Of course, Ningyu didn't forget about the culprit. The main culprit behind all of this was Sun Lianyu. Therefore, after defeating Xiong Hu, he walked to Sun Lianyu and said, This is the last time. With that, he turned around and walked towards Tai Divine Sect. On the way here, he had already received the token representing a human-level core disciple. Sun Lianyu's task was to send them safely to Tai Divine Sect. In other words, from now on, he had nothing to do with Sun Lianyu. What he needed to do next was to get a place to stay and then communicate with Zhao Xian to see if he could find the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu. Stop. However, Ningyu had only taken a few steps when he heard another reprimand. This time, the one who shouted wasn't Sun Lianyu or Xiong Hu, but Zhou Shun. Zhou Shun stared coldly at Ningyu and said, As a disciple of the Tai Divine Sect, how dare you speak rudely to the emissary? It seems that I have to teach you a lesson. Ningyu frowned slightly, a little puzzled. Logically speaking, Zhou Shun and Sun Lianyu had enmity, and with his attitude towards Sun Lianyu, Zhou Shun shouldn't be angry. However, when Ningyu saw Zhou Shun involuntarily glance at Zhao Xian from the corner of his eyes, he understood everything. In the end, Zhou Shun had a problem with them because of Zhao Xian. Such a melodramatic plot. Ningyu rolled his eyes. Without a doubt, Zhou Shun liked Zhao Xian, and Zhao Xian followed him to the Half-God City. But what did all this have to do with him? Ignoring Zhou Shun, Ningyu continued to walk towards the Tai-E Divine Sect. He had just entered the Tai-E Divine Sect, and had yet to gain a foothold. At this time, it wasn't suitable to have too many conflicts with others. Wait until he gained a foothold in the Tai-E Divine Sect. Swish. Sometimes, when you don't want to cause trouble, trouble will always come to you. Zhou Shun seemed to have Ningyu in his grasp. In a flash, he stood in front of Ningyu and said coldly, "Let me see what you have to be arrogant." Chi. The moment he said that, Zhou Shun clenched his right fist and punched towards Ningyu's head with a violent gust of wind. Although Zhou Shun didn't use his full strength in this punch, he used 50% of his strength. A punch with 50% of a half-step ancestral immortal strength was enough to kill an ordinary peak golden immortal expert. Let's see how arrogant you can be. To deal with this kind of person, Senior Brother Zhou has to take action. That's right, Senior Brother Zhou is strong. He doesn't need to use his full strength to easily defeat this guy. The people of Ling Divine City were all elated, as though they could see the tragic scene of Ningyu being defeated. On the contrary, apart from the Tuoba family, the martial artists of Half-God City were also very excited. The reason for their excitement was naturally because they felt that Ningyu could win. Ningyu could even kill Tuoba Xing with his full strength, let alone Zhou Shun, who only used 50% of his strength. Zhou Shun's open provocation finally made Ningyu's face turn cold. "I didn't want to take action, but you're too much." As Do Rang turned around, Ningyu punched out, and it collided with Zhou Shun's fist. Gotcha! When the two collided, a crisp sound rang out. Like a kite with its string cut, Zhou Shun was sent flying backwards. Zhou Shun only stopped when he hit the ground. After easily defeating Zhou Shun, Ningyu did not stay on the spot, but turned around and walked towards the Tai-E Divine Sect. Behind Ningyu, the geniuses of Half-God City hastened their pace to catch up. In the past, the geniuses of Half-God City did not have a good time in the Tai-E Divine Sect. The reason was that there was no one to protect them. Now that there was a thigh like Ningyu, how could they let it go? They had to hold on to Ningyu's thigh, even his leg hair. Otherwise, they would end up in a miserable state in the Tai-E Divine Sect. Trash. Sun Lianyu glared at Zhou Shun, then tore the void and disappeared. Even the geniuses of Ling Divine City left, leaving Zhou Shun and Xiong Hu here. If I don't take revenge, I, Zhou Shun, am not a human. Zhou Shun clenched his fists and his face became extremely hideous. I'm going to find my brother and let my brother take revenge for me. Xiong Hu clenched his teeth and green veins popped out on his body. Hearing Xiong Hu's words, Zhou Shun was overjoyed. How could he forget about Xiong Hu's brother? Xiong Hu's brother was called Xiong Long, a heaven-grade core disciple of the Tai-E Divine Sect. Although he and Xiong Long were both heaven-grade core disciples, the gap between him and Xiong Long was worlds apart. Xiong Long was only half a step away from his real ancestor. It could be said that even 100 of him wouldn't be Xiong Long's match. Let's go. Zhou Shun stood up from the ground with difficulty and left with Xiong Hu. At the same time, Tai-E Divine Sect Distribution Hall. Everyone who was promoted to a core disciple could be allocated a residence for free with the token. Generally speaking, the residence of a core disciple was worlds apart from that of an inner disciple. This wasn't normal. The people of Half-God City who were promoted to human-grade core disciples were overjoyed with excitement on their faces. On the other hand, those who could only enter the inner disciple had ugly expressions on their faces. This is my token. Ningyu handed the token that represented his identity to the servant of the distribution hall and said, "Please give me a residence." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.